tornado, and it is possible as this crosses into western Jackson County, we could see another tornado develop here. There's the latest update. Still seeing a well-defined area rotation. Let me circle it for you. Again, it appears this is a very rural area, forested area, because when I zoomed in, no streets really popped up. So that is some good news. But again, this is going to be crossing from Madison County on into Jackson County. Gurley, this is just north of you. But if you're over here into Jackson County, particularly this is going to be headed right towards Holly Tree, Princeton, Trenton. Likely will stay a little north of you folks in Garth, but if you're anywhere here along Alabama 65 from Trenton to Holly Tree to Princeton, I want you to head to your tornado safe place. Again, strong area rotation showing up here across eastern Madison County. This is about to move into western Jackson County. At least for now, we're not seeing a debris signature like we were back when that rotation was near Moontown, but I still want you in that tornado safe place. Let's get you back into the storm. So since this one, at least temporarily, has diminished, we still have a very intense storm going right through the center of the city of Huntsville. And just a quick look at this, and not much you can do about it. The hail core has come down on this one, but probably has done some significant damage going through a fairly populated area across the city of Huntsville. Our storm here in Morgan County, again, tornado warned. This one is right along the Tennessee River. This is Limestone County, county line, Madison County, Morgan County. That's where the circulation is showing up right now. Again, Triana, need you in your tornado safe place. This is probably going to stay just south of 565, but very close. So if you are, say, in the city of Madison, little south of 565, especially more down towards Triana, and then this will track likely through southern southwest Madison County towards the Zert Road area, eventually onto the Arsenal, and if it holds together, could threaten you folks here in South Huntsville before it's all said and done. So let me again give you an updated track on this. Quick look at the wind velocity. Not a real strong, I guess in the vicinity of Triana. It's a little more concentrated, but in general, this is a wide area rotation. But within this, like we've seen with all these storms, something could spin up and touch down and do damage. Again, here's the community of Winton in northern Morgan County, green blowing towards the radar, red's away. You get that sense of counterclockwise rotation here on 31 triple Doppler. And again, this is tracking towards the city of Triana, the community there. Basically anywhere here along the Tennessee River. And I know once you get into this southern part of Madison County, not too many homes, although there is a general build south into this area. And again, this will be going across parts of the Arsenal, it appears. If it continues to take mostly a northeasterly track, although still if you're here in northern Morgan County, I want you to seek shelter even over here towards Lacey Spring.
We have what looks like a tornado on the ground that is about to track into Jackson County. So here's a look at our debris tracker, and it's right there on the Madison County, Jackson County line where you see those colors at. Looks like we do have a tornado on the ground right now. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this as it tracks into Jackson County just over the next couple of minutes here.
All right. Thank you, Amber. So yeah, okay, so that now radar confirmed tornado. And yes, the update from the Weather Service bumping the tornado warning to considerable for the rotation north of Gurley. But again, I would say at this point, confirmed tornado. Radar confirmed. Again, this is heading into western Jackson County. So you need to be in your tornado safe place if you've not already headed there. This is right on the county line. Again, Holly Tree in particular, but anywhere from Holly Tree up to the Princeton area in particular, I need you in your tornado safe place. Again, that's significant. That's significant debris signature. And again, this is likely moving over to rain. I'm not sure that there's a whole lot of population here heading from that part of Madison County into Jackson County. So hopefully most of this is just trees being lofted, but that's significant on the debris tracker. So again, anywhere, I'll say from Little Nashville, but especially Holly Tree. Holly Tree, this is headed right towards you and perhaps up towards the Princeton area as well. If you're along this stretch of Alabama 65 in western Jackson County, need you in your tornado safe place. Again, this is radar confirmed tornado moving into western parts of Jackson County. Let's track this out. Let you know exactly when it's going to get there. I'll do kind of a wide track. This would take it, again, Holly Tree is direct in line. Could go as far north as Princeton. That'll be around 719. Holly Tree, it'll be there in about 5 minutes. And Skyline, if it holds together, you are in the path of this storm and tornado, confirmed now by radar, in the next 14 minutes. So in these areas from Princeton to Holly Tree all the way over to Skyline, once you're in your tornado safe place, be headed there. If you lose power, keep in mind we are live streaming on our apps, our news and weather apps, on our website, waaytv.com, social media, also on the WAAY 31 YouTube channel, so you can still get weather information from us if you lose power on your mobile devices. And this is always why we tell you make sure those mobile devices are always charged before a severe weather day. In case you lose power, that may be your only source of information. But again, this is now radar confirmed tornado. We have a debris signature that has showed up here. Again, this is significant, headed right towards Holly Tree. Need you in your tornado safe place. If you are in Holly Tree up to Princeton in particular and down the line into Skyline, because this is going to be here in even Skyline in about 20-25 minutes. Again, significant debris signature showing up here with this particular storm moving through western Jackson County. Right now, it appears that it's mostly over rural area. As we're zooming in closer, I'm not getting any streets, any major roads popping up. So this is likely just some heavily forested area there in western Jackson County. But again, that is going to change quickly as this heads towards Alabama, Highway 65, and the Holly Tree area. This is where the strong area rotation and again, debris signature confirmed by radar. There you go. I mean, that matches right up with the rotation. When you see that on the debris tracker, that's a high likelihood that there is something on the ground, almost without fail. So again, if you are in Holly Tree, and you're not going to see this either, this is wrapped in rainfall. There's not a clear spot here. Wrapped in rain, again, headed towards Holly Tree. Tornado appears to be on the ground, western Jackson County, headed towards Holly Tree, maybe as far north as Trenton, and again, farther down the line towards Skyline. Need you in your tornado safe place in those portions of Jackson County. We also have our tornado warned storm, and it looks like, Amber, maybe even that one, they've done a confirmed tornado on it, perhaps. Our storm here in Morgan County, Madison County area. Rotation's a little broader. Seeing it here in general around Triana. Red's away, green is toward. Broad rotation in this general area from Triana and points south into northern Morgan County, just outside of the Winton community, a little north of Valhermosa Springs. But again, anywhere from Triana, you saw the latest update, still broad circulation showing up here. For the most part, it's in Morgan County, but again, Triana, I want you to stay in your safe place. If you're down here towards Lacey Spring, in your safe place there off of Highway 36, and this is going to be tracking across the southern end of the arsenal and into South Huntsville as well. So if you are in the vicinity, you see Weatherly Heights down to the Whitesburg Bridge, in that part of South Huntsville, I want you to head to your tornado safe place just to be on the safe side. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado, or at least radar indicated rotation. Nothing that appears to be on the ground with this particular tornado warned storm. Let me reset the view. I know we've been focused on these more isolated storms, and that's the story. Let's be honest, that's the story. Now, there is new development back here towards Haleyville, south of Russellville. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. But again, the significant thunderstorm activity and tornado potential now concentrated Morgan into Jackson County, but we are going to have to watch southern Madison County as well. So this is the story at the moment. We'll have to keep an eye on any other areas that may try to pop up and develop here as we head through the remainder of this evening. But again, the significant weather has been moving through parts of the greater Huntsville area, back towards East Limestone. And again, it appears now we've had significant hail that has come through. That was the least of my concern when we were talking about the possible tornadoes. But let's take a look at that. You can see we're a swath of significant hail tracked through Limestone into Madison County, where you start getting into these purple colors, very large hail, bigger than golf balls in some cases, and we were definitely hearing it on our roof. This went right through the core of Huntsville. Sporadically here, parts of Limestone County, parts of Madison seeing the large hail, and then you can see here just off 565 towards the Arsenal, and then moving from near and south of downtown across the Parkway, Governor's Drive towards Montesano, very large hail. Again, we heard it on our rooftop. Another hail core with this storm, tornado warned when northern parts of Morgan and southern Madison County. Again, tornado warning continues here. But this is not significant rotation showing up. It is there, southeast of Triana, just off the Tennessee River. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Again, this is tracking towards South Parkway, far South Parkway, getting down towards Weatherly Heights area, again down towards the bridge going over the Tennessee River to Lacey Spring. That's where this storm is going to be tracking. So in these areas, yes, head to your tornado safe place. Not seeing signs of an imminent tornado here, but nonetheless, you do need to be seeking shelter. And again, heading here into parts of Jackson County.
And with that Jackson County storm, per the Jackson County 911, tornado on the ground near Gurley, headed towards Skyline.
Okay. So this was just north of Gurley. Again, Holly Tree. Still seeing indications here that there's something significant on the ground, as that is corresponding with where we're seeing the strongest rotation. Again, green is toward the radar, red is away. And again, seeing an indication that there's a tornado on the ground looking at the debris tracker. So Holly Tree, I need you in your tornado shelter. Maybe the storm has slowed down a little bit, but it is going to be there very, very soon. Again, there's your debris signature corresponding with where the rotation is showing up. You can kind of tell here there's terrain, so this is moving through a wooded area, perhaps not particularly populated, but that's going to change as soon as you get here to Alabama Highway 65. So again, Holly Tree, confirmed tornado on the ground just to your south and west. I need you in your tornado safe place here in Holly Tree up to Princeton. And again, if this holds together, it's headed towards you folks in Skyline. That is what is going to be next in line after this crosses Highway 65 there in western parts of Jackson County. Let me just take a look here, see what we have information-wise. I'm going to step off screen here for just a second. But we are looking at, again, a likely tornado on the ground approaching Holly Tree. National Weather Service reporting debris being lofted up to at least 7,000 feet with this storm. This is a serious situation for you folks in Holly Tree to Princeton to Skyline. I need you in your tornado shelter. Debris being lofted at least 7,000 feet into the air. Looks like they just are updating this tornado warning. Again, let me show you where the tornado is. It's right here. It is on the ground. Looks like a new tornado warning. I think it's just an extension of perhaps this one. It
Yes,
is.
it
It's
is.
a very large tornado warned area. So let me take a closer look here. So new tornado warning. It's got to be for this storm. And it includes a large area. So I want everyone to be aware and cautious. I do want to stress, even though this is a huge tornado warning that's drawn out, the most immediate threat for a tornado is here south of Princeton, headed towards Skyline. That's confirmed by radar. So yes, if you're in Scottsboro, if you're all the way over here to Stevenson, if you're in northern DeKalb County, sirens are probably going off in the communities that have them. But I do want to stress, this is the tornado threat right now. And it's unlikely, unless something new develops, this is not going to take a hard right turn and hit you in Scottsboro. This is going to continue mostly on an east-northeast track. Get another radar update here. Still there. Again, let's focus in a little closer. But I do, that's one of the things that we can do. We can provide a little context to these warnings. And yes, I know Scottsboro, you probably just got the alert. Sirens may be going off, but I do want to stress what we are tracking, tornado potential, is this, approaching Highway 65, and in particular, the Holly Tree area there in Jackson County. Well, let's take a look here, look at the newest information with this storm. Again, you're not going to see this. This is fully part of the rain core of this storm. This is completely wrapped in rain. I want to just double check here, make sure there are no other areas. Okay, well maybe this is why. Okay, so this is why it appears we've got a new area of rotation showing up near Pleasant Groves. So we've got confirmed tornado, radar confirmed near Holly Tree, new circulation developing here near Pleasant Groves. So that is why the tornado warning was drawn so largely. And Amber, I'll let you talk about that. So it looks like we may have another debris signature. Is that what you're seeing?
It does, yeah. Just to the north of Pleasant Groves, we're starting to see that second area of debris being lofted into the air here. So I'm going to take this back a few scans and show you what we've been watching. So we have that one. This is our original area that we were watching as it moved over into Jackson County. But as we walk this back, keep an eye on Pleasant Groves here. And over the past couple of minutes, we've seen this secondary area pop up, and that's debris being lofted into the air. Could be tree limbs, it could be debris from houses. Either way, you need to be in your safe place if you're in Skyline over in Jackson County. I would say all the way up to Princeton. Make sure that you are in that safe area right now. Let's go over to the velocity and show you. So this was the area that we were watching originally, and now we have this second area of some tighter rotation starting to develop just north of Pleasant Groves. And again, this is going to continue and pass over 79. So Skyline, you're going to be the next in line to see this area of rotation in Jackson County. So go back over to the reflectivity here, and like Jeff's been saying, you're not going to be able to see these tornadoes because they're going to be wrapped in rain and all of this lightning that we are seeing with the storm. So you need to make sure that you are in a safe place away from doors and windows right now in this part of Jackson County. I'm going to swap it back over to our correlation coefficient, our debris tracker here, and both of these areas are still showing up. So we still have two areas of rotation within this storm in Jackson County. Let me go over and see if we have any updates from the National Weather Service, and I am not seeing any new updates. So we will keep watching this storm. We still have that one tornado warning as well down in portions of South Madison County into northern Morgan County as well. I've been keeping an eye on that one, but I have not seen any indication that would tell me that we have a tornado on the ground with that one. Rotation right now right over Lacey Springs. So if you're in the Lacey Spring area, make sure that you are also in your safe place at this time. So I do want to go back to this Jackson County storm because that one right now seems to be the one that will be the biggest threat. So switching it back over to our debris tracker here, and this is just what gives us an indication that yes, we do have something on the ground, and there's the latest scan, and it sure does look like we have something right now that is passing over 79 Skyline. This is just to the south of you, but I still want you in your safe place right now as the storm continues to pass. Kyles, you'll be the next one in line if this continues to move to the east. So early heads up for you. Make sure that you get to that safe place as well. And again, this is in Jackson County in Alabama. Make sure you're away from those doors and windows. So something that we will definitely keep watching over the next little bit here. Here's a quick overview of the entire southeast, and that line that we've been watching, the one that will take the severe threat with it, is starting to move into Alabama as we speak. Once we get that through here, our severe threat will drop, but until that happens, we're going to have to keep an eye on these storms, especially the one in Jackson County with that confirmed tornado. So we're starting to see showers and a few thunderstorms pop up in portions of the shoals. But again, the severe activity is in the Huntsville metro and portions of Sand Mountain. So Jeff, I'm going to continue to watch it over here on my side, but I'll toss things back over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Amber. And for the folks in the back, if anyone was trying to talk to me probably for the last 30 minutes, I was not able to hear you. So any information you want to pass along, I did check my email. It looks like we've gotten lots of pictures and some video. You know, hopefully our digital team and some other folks in the newsroom can take a look at that, because that would be important for us to be able to share with you any of that we can get on air. Again, our immediate threat right now for tornado activity is in Jackson County. We are watching the storm in Madison County, but again, we've had radar confirmed tornadoes here in Jackson County. There are still two main areas of rotation, so this storm that's moving through, couple spots where it has been producing tornadoes. The one here, again, approaching Skyline. So Skyline, you need to continue to remain in your shelter. And then also just off to the southeast of Skyline, there's an area of rotation as well, continuing to move on through. So a couple spots here that we're watching, but it does look like the debris signatures have perhaps disappeared in both of these. We'll move it back in time. And I moved it a little bit too far. But again, we were watching there near Holly Tree. I'm going to move over to the other computer, because I do want to point this out to you. Where we had the debris signature, you see the one here. This is what moved into the Holly Tree area, so that was one debris signature. And then we saw another one that developed here near Pleasant Groves. But both of these now have kind of gone away. The first one, the one near Holly Tree, kind of went away as it's approached Skyline, but still wants you in your safe place in Skyline. And then the other one that developed back towards Pleasant Groves, you can see what's left of it, kind of fizzled here north of Tupelo and west of Kyles. So hopefully that's a trend which is going to continue. But obviously this storm has been significant as it's moved on through. And in fact, the way it is kind of structured now, notice it's kind of bowing out here off to the north of Scottsboro. Now there could still be some spin-ups. That's certainly a possibility. But maybe at this point, this storm is transitioning more to a straight line wind threat as it's moving through the remainder of Jackson County towards Stevenson. Officially tornado warning, but it appears, at least from the debris tracker, which is radar confirmation of something on the ground, the two areas we were tracking that were confirmed on the ground by radar appear to have gone away, at least temporarily. There are still two areas, though, of rotation that we've been monitoring, but even these are starting to go away. Still here east of Skyline, this is the one that was near the Pleasant Groves area. What is in Skyline right now that came through the Holly Tree area, that rotation has kind of diminished. But what you do see here, north of Scottsboro, that's going to be tracking towards Hollywood, Stevenson, definitely a wind shift. So we may be seeing more of a transition now to a strong damaging wind threat across this part of Jackson County, and maybe less of a tornado threat. So that is something, I don't want to say it's good news, but I guess it's better news than a tornado. But still, that could do some significant damage as it moves on through. So let's kind of track this out for you, and we're going to track this over a large area, as again, this appears to have shifted to maybe more of a damaging straight line wind threat. The worst of this right now looks like it's going to stay north of you folks in Scottsboro. But as we continue to track this through the remainder of Jackson County, this is where it's going to be going next. Hollywood, you'll kind of get clipped by this, 740. Stevenson area by 744. And then into Bridgeport, there in the corner of Jackson County, by around 754. All right, let me get you back to our storm in Madison County. We've not had a lot of information on that. We've seen some rotation with it. It is not quite the same as some of these other storms, but you got to watch, you got to monitor things. These storms are not, they're not things that move from point A to point B. They are processes. They're constantly evolving and changing. So that's why we go from one storm to the other, and we just do a check on the latest information. We'll have to watch here. So this is catching my eye on this storm, which has now gone past the Parkway. This area here in southern Madison County, this is east of Whitesburg, in the vicinity of Hobbs Island Road. We'll be going over Green Mountain into the Owens Crossroads area. Get a closer view here. And Amber, if you see anything in regards to this storm.
And keeping a close eye on the debris tracker with that one that's moving into Madison County.
Okay. So we're going to have to monitor this. We've got another hail core, which is coming across Green Mountain. You can kind of see some of the roads here. South Shawty Road, Old Big Cove Road, southeast. And then, of course, this is 431, what Governor's turns into, heading into the Owens Crossroads area. We are seeing, again, the possibility for some large hail here out of this storm as well. Not what we saw move across Huntsville, so don't get me wrong, it's not quite the same as that, but maybe some larger hail coming across areas here, just a little east of the Whitesburg Bridge, Hobbs Island Road area. Of course, this turns into, I think, Green Mountain Road that eventually hits Highway 43. It intersects with Old Big Cove Road here on the east side of Green Mountain. So some large hail, but again, I am keeping an eye, just looking at the velocities. Just a reminder of what we're seeing here when we look at this. The radar's back this direction, back behind me. The greens are blowing towards, the reds are away. So again, some rotation showing up here in this vicinity. Actually, this was Old Green Mountain Road here, and then Hobbs Island Road. And there's the latest scan update. So there is some rotation showing up here that's now going over Green Mountain here, far southern parts of Madison County. We'll be tracking near, if you know where kind of the center of town for Owens Crossroads, where the water department is, all that. This is where that rotation is going to be tracking, just a little south of there, going across that part of Madison County. So we are seeing some rotation here. We're going to have to keep an eye on it with this particular thunderstorm. It's a little bit ahead of where we would tend to look for it, but just something that we will be watching here. It's pretty close. Again, Owens Crossroads area. Again, this is going over Green Mountain, and it would be in the little notch here where if something were to spin up, that's where it would happen. So this does kind of correspond where we're seeing rotation with that area. Right in here. So we're going to have to monitor that. Again, just south of the Owens Crossroads, the center of town there. So if you hear Owens Crossroads to Poplar Ridge, and by Owens Crossroads, I know a lot of folks have Owens Crossroads mailing address. This would be Owens Crossroads proper, right there in the middle of town. Towards New Hope and towards Poplar Ridge, just want you to continue to be in your tornado safe place in these areas, basically the southeastern corner of Madison County, as we'll continue to keep an eye on this. No confirmation that we have a tornado, but it is something that we are watching. And just a quick look here at the debris tracker. Don't know that we necessarily have something, but you know, we're going to keep an eye on this. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily just because it's not surrounded by a sea of red. I know you would look at this and think, oh, well, that corresponds with where the rotation is, but it's not completely surrounded. It kind of starts here and then flares out from there. So I don't think that's a debris signature, but we're going to watch it. They're telling me, so we have some video, some trees down, some video of that. Give me a little bit more. Oh, we have it live. Okay, so is Georgia live to talk to us? Okay, we're going to go out to Georgia Clark in the storm tracker with some damage that you found. Georgia.
Yeah, Jeff, here I'm right now sitting on I-65 North on the northern side of the highway, and this is just off of right before Buc-ee's at exit 347. So I'm going to flip the camera around so we can see what we're looking at right now. We've got some trees down across I-65 South. It has traffic completely backed up. They are slowly letting cars around this massive tree that has fallen down across the highway. And this is just one of three. I'm going to zoom out really quick and give y'all a better look. So this is one of three trees that has fallen down so far on I-65. And just a reminder, this is just south of Buc-ee's. We've got another one right here that is still on the highway. And then we have another one down farther that one of these state troopers is guarding at the moment. But yeah, this is just south of Buc-ee's, right before the exit 347, Huntsville, Browns Ferry Road. So if you were headed in that direction, you might want to turn around before you get that way. So just be sure that you are being mindful of this traffic as well as the trees that are across the highway right now. They are currently got some workers out there trying to get it situated and get the tree off of the highway. But this is just off of mile marker 346, and we are keeping track of this. We're going to stay out here for a few minutes and see the progress that they get done on this tree, but this has got traffic completely backed up. But we're going to stay and keep an eye on this. But I'm reporting live in Limestone County with coverage you can count on. Georgia Clark, WAAY 31 News.
Thank you, Georgia. And speaking of Limestone County, getting a lot of reports right now out of Athens, damages from the storms there. So let me get through some of that. Athens Utilities reporting 15,000 without power right now. There are 13 poles broken on Lucas Ferry Road, damage on Sanford Road between Jefferson Street and Hines Street, and south of US 72. A lot of water over the roads as well. And some of that is repeating some of the information we got before. Lucas Ferry Road between Browns Ferry Street and Highway 72 closed right now because of several broken utility poles there.
And the information from Athens continues to be updated as they're sending people to sort of survey that damage. So Athens is giving us more and more information. Now, also, we do have some more information as far as power outages go. We just got a big note in from Huntsville Utilities. Look at the map there. You can tell there's a lot of people without power. Even since this email came in 9 minutes ago, it jumped from nearly 15,000 without power to this map says closer to 16,630. They do expect the number is going to continue to rise as more people report powers out. They also say crews will go out into the field to begin restoring service as soon as they are safely able to do so, but they are reminding customers, stay away from any downed power lines, don't drive over them. And as we've seen from the reports that are coming in, there is quite a bit of that on the roadway, downed trees, down limbs, down power lines. So something to consider before you head out. And obviously now would not be the time to be heading out right now.
We've got some video right now from Owens Crossroads, since we've been talking about that quite a bit. And I had just checked in with family who were there near the area. This is the Meadows subdivision. You can hear the sirens in the background here with some of the lighting. I know there were some reports of some hail that was there. Not as loud, I think, as we'd gotten here right over the station a while ago. But lightning in the background there. And of course, still looking at some storms heading over that way right now.
Right, and then we're getting more information from Athens Utilities as well. 15,000 without power, 13 poles again broken on Lucas Ferry Road, damage on Sandifer Road as well between Jefferson Street and Hines Street. I think we have some photos of the flooding that we've seen come into the newsroom as well. So we're dealing with things all across the board. Power outages, down trees, down power lines, flooding.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing a lot of that not only in Limestone County, but Madison County, as we've been talking. Storms now moving over towards Jackson County. As always, if you can take a picture or some videos safely and send it to us, it does really help us tell the story.
And as you heard from Georgia Clark, trees down across I-65 South. She was showing us just one of three. That's obviously going to cause some major issues on the roadways there. This is the live look right now. You can see how slow the traffic is moving. That looks like it is probably going to be southbound, as that's where the trees are down. Georgia is going to continue to take a look at the damage for us as she makes her way back on the roadways. She started out in Florence, where she saw some of that hail that we've been talking about since the afternoon hours.
Yeah, I believe we got some other video that looking south at Huntsville, Browns Ferry Road at Gray Road. Again, this is, looking at some of the Limestone County and Madison County areas that are having trouble after the storms here this afternoon. There's that funnel cloud that we were looking at before.
That's the one. So that's just some of the information that's coming in. You know, if you take a look at your email, lots of people reporting trees are down outside their homes. So we'll continue to bring you that. And if you can safely take photos, of course, send them our way. But of course, the main message on that is don't take photos unless you can do that
Absolutely.
safely.
Of course, we're still tracking the storms that are moving through the area. Let's check in now with meteorologist Amber Kulik. She has the latest for us. Amber?
Yeah, still keeping an eye on this storm that's moving through Jackson County. It does have rotation with it. This is right along County Road 55, County Road 42. It's where you see those greens and those reds coming together, where we do have a little bit of rotation in the storm. So we'll be watching this. This is the same storm that we've been watching over portions of Jackson County over the past little bit here. So here's a look at our reflectivity. Lot of rain with these storms as well. So if we do have any type of tornado that's trying to touch down in Jackson County, you're not going to be able to see it because it is going to be rain wrapped. That's why you need to be in that safe place as long as we have these tornado warnings. Now we do have another one down here in southern parts of Madison County. And so we'll go in with our velocity here to see what we have, and still watching this area near Owens Cross Road, where you see those reds and those greens coming together. That's something that we will have to watch as we head into the next few minutes here. We'll switch on over to our debris tracker, toggle this back and forth over the past couple of minutes. And again, not anything that would tell me, hey, we do have something on the ground here, but worth watching if you are in Owens Cross Road, Poplar Ridge. You need to be in your safe place right now as this storm moves through your area. So I'll go back here, kind of reset the view. Here's what we have going on. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Limestone into Madison County. This is moving through Madison right now as we speak. We got some shower and storm activity out towards the shoals, but right now this is not severe warned. And I'll even go back through and check, see what we have on the National Weather Service here. National Weather Service says they're seeing pretty strong rotation in the Owens Crossroads, New Hope area. So Jeff, I'll hop on over to you so you can get the latest on that.
Yeah, keeping an eye on that. Amber, watching that in the Owens Crossroads area. I pulled up our WAAY 31 triple Doppler radar out of Gunnersville. So I've got it kind of focused in here. This is going to be the closest radar, a little closer than the National Weather Service radar, looking a little bit lower into the storm. So the good news is I'm not seeing anything real strong rotation-wise. Maybe a little bit here off of Highway 431, just southeast of Owens Crossroads. Gonna keep an eye on that and see what that continues to do. And let me focus in a little closer and I'll show you that. We just got one little pixel here of wind going away, and then everything else is blowing towards. And there you see the latest update. So if there's any circulation here, it's not super strong, but just a little bit in the vicinity here, just southeast of Owens Crossroads and a little off of Highway 431. Now again, that's our radar. The National Weather Service radar, again, nothing that's super well defined here. The greens are towards, the reds are away. Nothing that's really concentrated in a small area. That's looking too concerning to me at this point in time. So yes, officially a tornado warning does continue with this storm. You can see it's a south storm, heavy rainfall, lots of lightning. If anything tornado-wise is going to develop, it's now moved a little east to Owens Crossroads, approaching Poplar Ridge, and then this will likely be tracking either into far northern Marshall County, or more likely this may head just a little bit across the county line into Jackson County towards Woodville. So let me track this one out for you. Again, this is, we've had some concerning storms. This is the one that's honestly been least concerning that we've been keeping an eye on. But still won't rule out that something might develop with this over time. Now, it is getting almost to the edge of the warning area, and it's possible, I've not looked at the time, I imagine that warning expires at 8. We'll see if it's extended on into Jackson County, but this is where that storm is moving next. Again, extreme southeast Madison County now around Poplar Ridge. If it continues on this track slightly north of east, this would take it towards Woodville in the next 10 minutes around 7:58, Swearingen around 8:01, the Langston area around 8:09. Again, we'll see if the warning is extended on this one. This is the one that has been least concerning up until now, but obviously with these storms, you got to watch them all and you got to keep checking them all. So with that in mind, we're continuing to monitor that one. I'll even take a look here. So that goes until 8. We'll see if that warning is extended on into Jackson County in particular, but may still include extreme northern parts of Marshall County. That one goes until 8. Nothing that is showing up in it right now that indicates an imminent tornado threat, but there is still some rotation at times. And then we continue with our tornado warning over here into Jackson County. This one at one point was confirmed tornado. Now it appears that's not the case, but we are still keeping an eye on this storm, which is, as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of elongated. This is a storm that did produce a tornado back in, I'm sure it was a tornado in Limestone County, East Limestone, that headed into the city of Madison. This storm has kind of lost its structure that it had before. It's more linear now as opposed to discrete and what we would call supercellular, but still possible to produce some very strong wind. Some of that approaching Pisgah there at the bottom of the screen, some of that moving into the Stevenson area as well. But as far as what we're seeing rotation-wise, I'm not seeing rotation associated with this storm that has me too concerned about an imminent tornado threat. As we look at the debris tracker here, there's nothing that's really jumping out at me that says there's an immediate tornado threat or something that is on the ground with this one. So hopefully this storm has run its course finally. after starting in the shoals, moving across Limestone County, Madison County, Jackson County. Again, this one has maybe finally run its course as it's heading through eastern Jackson County. Still wants you sheltered. You know, at the very least, this may bring some strong wind gusts. So yes, tornado warning, not seeing an imminent threat for a tornado. Still could have some strong wind gusts associated with this. And we'll still have to watch, even though this is becoming what we call a little bit more linear in nature. It's more of a line or line segment, as opposed to, as I say, supercellular, like the storm was earlier when it had an obvious hook echo. There was an obvious area rotation. We're not seeing that now with this particular thunderstorm. And it looks like there's a changeover in National Weather Service office responsibility at the state line. It goes over to the office out of Atlanta. And it looks like they are opting for this storm coming out of Jackson County that'll be moving into northwest Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warning. So it
That
looks like
tornado warning in Jackson County will expire at 8 p.m.
Okay, so good. So still a threat with wind out of this one. I'm not even sure there's maybe a big hail threat any longer. No. So this storm has really kind of lost some of its organization. Likely some strong wind gusts. I think that's the biggest threat right now as this continues its track through Stevenson, north of Henniger, towards the state line and on into Georgia. Storm back behind, and again, I believe it also expires at 8. We'll have to see what is done with it, if it is extended or allowed to expire. I've got all the data pulled off of here except for the hail. There is another severe storm moving through Madison. This is a hail producer, not showing the same degree of hail that other storms, earlier storms have shown. But still packing a punch. A lot of lightning with this one. Take a closer look here in a second. Want to get you back here into our storm coming out of Madison on into Jackson County. This one is still very organized and strong. Rotation with it, but rotation that's not been significant enough for an immediate tornado threat. And we'll still keep an eye on it. Again, nothing that I'm immediately seeing here that's catching my eye to say we have an immediate concern for a tornado. So it's possible this tornado will be allowed to expire. If there was any sort of significant tornado threat rotation-wise, the area that we'd be looking for it would be where I've circled, which is a little east of Poplar Ridge, southwest of Woodville, pretty close to Humpton there, heading into northern Marshall County. And as we take a look at the wind velocity here, I don't see anything that's real concerning here in terms of rotation with this thunderstorm. So there's a good chance that this tornado warning will be allowed to expire. And if that's the case, we already know the one for Jackson County is going to be allowed to expire. If this one is allowed to expire as well, then we won't have any active tornado warnings, if I'm correct about that, Amber. Although what?
They just issued a
Okay.
new one for Marshall County. This includes portions of Marshall County, goes to 8:45.
Okay, so they are extending the warning. Again, I will say with this one right now, there's no immediate threat for a tornado that I'm seeing in the data. Probably just out of abundance of caution, just because of what has happened and how significant these storms have been. And areas over here, Marshall into DeKalb County, relatively untouched. So the atmosphere is still has a lot of energy that this storm could feed off of. So we're going to be staying on here a while longer. That is the main storm to watch at this point in time. So let's kind of track it out. For those of you that may have just gotten the alerts, either from the WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app, maybe your weather radio went off. Let's track this storm and show you where it's going to be headed. Again, mostly off to the east. It's been the motion on this. Woodville, you're mostly going to get some rain, some wind, and maybe some hail out of it. Circulation, what we're seeing of it, that'll be tracking towards Swearingen Langston area, we've mentioned both of those in tracking this storm. A little bit farther out in time, I got Scottsboro here, but again, you're mostly going to get on the northern extent of this storm, so mostly heavy wind and hail threat, maybe some gusty wind. But again, Langston, we'll say to Powell, 824. That's where the storm and the part where if it's going to produce a tornado is most likely to go. The Rainsville area, this will be coming in around 829. So that tornado warning, basically an extension of the existing one that we have here across extreme southeast Madison County, extreme northern Marshall County, and extreme southwestern Jackson County. Again, that's just an extension of the warning on this storm. Let's take a closer look here. If something's going to develop in this storm, this will be the area. Again, Woodville, you're mostly getting the heavy rain and perhaps some hail. Grant is probably going to stay just north of you. Any rotation that's going to form is going to be in this little notch where we have a drop off in the intensity of the precipitation. Again, that's where air is flowing into the storm. We've also got a part of the storm where wind is blowing out of it. Here's the latest scan coming around. So if anything's going to develop tornado-wise, it's probably going to be a little north of you folks in Grant, a little south of you folks in Woodville. Basically taking an easterly track that'll carry it far northern Marshall County, and then it's going to hit Jackson County, likely going just south of you folks in Scottsboro, crossing Lake Gunnersville, Tennessee River area there, heading across southern Jackson County, and eventually into DeKalb County. Going to take a look here at the latest velocity information just to see what that is looking like. I just don't see anything too alarming. There is broad circulation that's showing up here. Again, we're using the radar out of northwest Jackson County. Green is toward, red's away. General sense of some broad rotation showing up here as you head out of Grant associated with this thunderstorm. Nothing that appears to be an imminent tornado threat. Look at the wind shear product, and there's some strong wind. I think that's pretty much a guarantee. And I know we have this labeled rotation. This is more of a wind shear product. When the wind shear is kind of concentrated in a small area, that's more indicative of a tornado threat. When it's a little bit more spread out here, like you see northwest of Grant, that's a little bit more of an indication of some strong damaging wind potential. So that's what we are monitoring here. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing here. This is probably some strong wind. Let's see the latest update coming around here. So some strong wind headed out of Grant associated with this storm. And we'll just have to wait and see if this kind of wraps up, if the circulation on it gets a little bit more significant. But as it stands right now, not real concerned that we have anything imminent here in terms of a tornado threat with this storm. But you do need to be seeking shelter until this storm passes. If you are here, we'll say north of Grant, across that part of Marshall County, extreme southern Jackson County, I would say south to Scottsboro. You saw the previous warning dropping here at 8 o'clock. But if you're here north of Grant, we'll say to Section, and again towards Rainsville, in that zone here, southern Jackson County, and eventually northern DeKalb County, I want you to head to your tornado safe place, at least until this storm has passed. Let's again kind of track this out through those areas. And show you the time of arrival. Henniger, this will also get close to you. I don't think you'll show up in the track here, but it won't be too far beyond what we've got here. Section 817, the Rainsville area around 830. If this does make it towards Henniger, it'll be a little bit closer to around the expiration time of this tornado warning, which would be 840, 845-ish. Again, tornado warning for this area, southern Jackson, northern Marshall, northern parts of DeKalb County. Again,
911 confirms
8:45.
tornadoes south of Woodville.
Okay, let's see here. This may be ramping up a little bit. In the area we'd be watching close to Swearingen. So I mentioned getting in your shelter, Swearingen. So south of Woodville, It's not a real strong, unless it's here. Maybe right here. We got green blowing towards the radar, red's away. So if that there's Woodville, that's very much though in the precip. It'd be a little difficult to see unless you were right underneath it. Not seeing anything in the debris tracker. So let me go back and I'll circle this for you. Now that doesn't mean that I don't want you to seek shelter. Just not seeing an imminent. I think this is what maybe is being noted. So got that circled. So this area here, south of Woodville. But as we look at the debris tracker, and of course the debris tracker is a couple minutes behind the actual radar data, but at least at the moment, not really seeing anything in the debris tracker that would indicate something on the ground here, but we're going to continue to watch that. It does look like they upgraded it though, Amber, looks like they upgraded it to confirmed.
I have not
Based on
seen
that
that
report?
come through yet.
Oh, okay, because I know it's drawn in purple instead of red now on the warning.
Oh, yes, it just came through.
Okay. So 911 in Jackson County confirms tornado south of Woodville. I don't have any other information other than that. And I will say what we're looking at here radar-wise doesn't necessarily support that. We do see rotation. We're not seeing, and you saw the latest scan update there, at least at the moment, we're not seeing anything on the debris tracker that would indicate something on the ground, or at least something significant that's on the ground right now. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Again, the warning upgraded to confirmed just based on that report from the 911 call center there in Jackson County. I assume it was from Jackson County, might have been northern Marshall County. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Again, this is the rotation south of Woodville that we are seeing on the radar that perhaps could be what prompted that. But again, I'm not seeing anything here on the debris tracker that's got me particularly concerned at this point in time. So we're going to keep an eye on that though. The storm still has to look. The storm is still one obviously rotating. And really if there's rotation, new tornado warning. Okay, we're going to have to take a look at that. Would be near Swearingen, but again, a report south of Woodville. New warning now coming out for yet another storm. This one moving through South Huntsville.
Located near Redstone Arsenal, moving east at 45 miles per hour.
Okay. Let's see. We'd assume it's here. So actually it would be off the Arsenal at this point, based on the latest update here. This would be moving through South Huntsville. Again, the storm showing signs of one that's rotating. So this is a new tornado warning for South Huntsville. It's fairly broad, and I think now the warnings are just to err on the side of caution because of what has already transpired. Very broad rotation showing up around Hobbs Island to where the Whitesburg Bridge is, green toward the radar, red's away, broad area rotation showing up here. Also seeing maybe an area rotation near New Hope. Once again, there is another storm just a little east of there. So we may get a tornado warning for this one as well. So tornado warning for this storm across South Huntsville, South Parkway area. Some broad rotation. It's not concentrated, but also some broad rotation showing up here near New Hope. So we may get a warning on this storm as well. So we got 2. So possibly something there. And I'm seeing some rotation here near New Hope as well. So we got 2 more storms here. We got one moving it through South Huntsville. We've got another one in southeast Madison County. We got our 3rd storm, just a little east of here, moving now into parts of southern Jackson County, northern parts of DeKalb County. So it's possible, just a heads up here around New Hope, we may get another tornado warning for that storm. Got broad rotation here, far south Madison County, even down towards Lacey Spring. There is broad rotation showing up with another storm here outside of Owens Crossroads, right over New Hope. No warning on it, but we're keeping an eye on it. And then again, over here into Jackson County, I know the warning continues. Let's zoom in a little closer. You know, if something's developing, it'll be right in this notch near Swearingen. But when we match that up with the wind velocity, maybe just a little bit. It looks a lot more ominous looking at the rainfall pattern than it does when you look at the velocity. Quick look here at the debris tracker. I'm not seeing anything there. Back towards New Hope, not seeing anything there. And then back here into South Huntsville, down towards the Whitesburg Bridge, not seeing anything there.
And I do want to mention the storm in Jackson County. This one is not the tornado warned storm, but this is the one that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, has some very large hail with it. So this is going to be north of Ider in DeKalb County, south of Stevenson in Jackson County. So if you are in this area, Sulphur Springs, York's Mill, very large hail with this storm. So make sure you're staying away from your doors and windows if you are in that area at this time as well. Flip it over to reflectivity here. Not only do we have that large hail, but we have a lot of lightning and a lot of rain falling at this time as well in portions of Jackson County and for a lot of areas across the Tennessee Valley. We do have those tornado warned storms. This one in southern Jackson County. We'll flip back over to our velocity here. Still broad rotation, but nothing that would alert me to say that yes, we do have a tornado on the ground with this one. And here's the one in southern Madison County as well. And there's rotation just to the north of New Hope, but again, not super tight. That would tell me that there is a tornado on the ground right now. And I don't want to forget everyone else across the Tennessee Valley. We do have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. We have one in central Morgan County, and then we have a couple out towards the shoals as well. Been keeping an eye on the velocity scans with these storms just in case, and so far it doesn't look like we have any rotation with them. So keep an eye on those over the next little bit here, but of course our most active storms right now in portions of northern Marshall County into southern Madison County and into Jackson County as well. Check in with the National Weather Service. Talking about that severe thunderstorm warning they just issued in Morgan County. Not seeing any reports from these tornado warnings with any damage right now. Let's see, pea-sized hail, Burning Tree Mountain, that's in Morgan County. Other than that, that's about all I have damage report wise, but of course keeping a close eye on these tornado warnings, Jeff, as we head into the next little bit here.
All right, thank you, Amber. So we've got 3 storms that we're keeping an eye on, basically lined up from Madison to Jackson to northern Marshall County, northern parts of DeKalb County. 2 of them tornado warned. The third one is not. So let me kind of take you through these one by one. And again, we've got the storm in now moving into southern Jackson County out of northern Marshall County, has passed Swearingen. This one had a confirmed tag on it because there was a report to 911. I'm not sure, I've not looked close enough. It was south of Woodville, so it may have been Jackson County 911, it may have been Morgan or Marshall County 911. It doesn't really matter, but a report of a tornado. So that's why this has the confirmed tornado tag on it. Right now, the area of rotation that we're watching closest is east of Swearingen, heading into southern parts of Jackson County. So let me show you that and kind of what I'm looking at here. And it is going to be this area, which is getting ready to cross Alabama Highway 79. You see this small area of rotation, green toward the radar, the reds are away. That's what we're seeing here, a little east of Swearingen. This kind of matches up with the overall radar pattern, which I'll throw that back on here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So if there's going to be something that develops, it's going to be kind of at the apex of where this precip, this rain, is kind of bowing out here, and where the inflow is coming in, which is this little notch. And so again, there is some rotation here. It's not super strong, at least in the lowest levels of the storm. Maybe a little more significant if we looked up a little bit higher in the storm. Not seeing anything on the debris tracker that's an immediate concern to me. But again, right here in the vicinity of Highway 79, I'll zoom in a little closer. I'm not sure exactly what this road is coming out of Swearingen. But we'll focus in just a little bit tighter to get that to kind of pop up here. So this is going to be in the vicinity County Road 77, Alabama 79, southern parts of Jackson County, east of Swearingen. So again, some rotation showing up here. It's not incredibly strong. There you saw the latest update. It actually kind of has faded a little bit. We've got two storms back behind, and we're going to track all these out once I get through the latest look at all of them. There's another storm here back towards Poplar Ridge. There has been a little rotation that showed up with it, not enough to prompt a warning. And then our last storm is the one back here in southeast Madison County. And again, this is not incredibly concerning. This is has gone over Green Mountain, moving into the Owens Crossroads area. But let's kind of take a look here at the rotation that we've got associated with it. And it's not real well defined, particularly matching it up with the radar pattern. And we're certainly not seeing anything in the debris tracker that would indicate something on the ground. So, 3 storms, some tornado potential, nothing that is an imminent threat, but let's track it all out. This is the one moving through southern Jackson, and we'll be moving across northern DeKalb County. I think this is the one that maybe has the best chance to produce a tornado. No guarantees that's going to happen. But this one's tracking towards section 822, the Powell area around 829, Sylvania around 835, Henniger around 842. I'd mentioned Rainsville earlier. A storm may stay a little north of there, but watch it closely there if you're in Rainsville. But this is more tracking towards section, Powell, Sylvania, and Henniger. And again, if we're going to get another confirmed tornado, it may be this storm that does it, partially because it's the leading edge of this little cluster of storms. It's the one that's most intense, certainly the most electrical. And also, we've not had precip and storms that have moved across this part of Sand Mountain and northeast Alabama. So there's still plenty of fuel out here. Now, what is happening, it's after 8 o'clock. It's still warm and muggy in many areas, but the temperatures are coming down. And each degree the temperature drops, that can correspond to a significant loss of energy in the atmosphere. So as we continue to head through the evening hours, I don't want to say that we're past the worst that we've seen, but certainly the threat for severe weather is gradually going to back down. So we are going to continue to monitor all these storms. Again, there's nothing that I'm seeing here in the wind velocity with this storm in Jackson County that'll be headed into DeKalb County that is immediately concerning to me. I don't see anything on the debris tracker. Storm back here towards New Hope. We are watching it, not warned on this one, I believe. There has been some circulation at times with it, very broad, not super well defined. And then the last storm here, southern Madison County, I would really say this one. And Amber, if you see anything different. The one that was coming off the Arsenal was tornado warned, moving through South Huntsville. I would say this one is really looking ill-defined at this point in time. So we'll see if these warnings are continued. Those are your active tornado warnings. So basically southeast Madison County, northern Marshall County, southern Jackson County, northern DeKalb County, that zone right there. We do have other severe thunderstorm warned storms. These are going to be mainly capable of producing some hail. One in Morgan County that's come out of the Hartsville area. I'll show you the hail core on that one. Kind of come down a little bit. This is where it was crossing I-65. Not super concerning about large hail out of that one, but that remains a severe thunderstorm warning. Quick look here, wind velocity wise. Don't see anything that's jumping out at me that's a big concern in terms of circulation in this storm. And then lastly, we do have another severe thunderstorm warning that includes, looks like parts of Franklin County, Russellville. This has now passed you, and this is going to be moving mostly into the Bankhead National Forest, might impact parts of Moulton. This is looking more like it's linear, it's kind of elongated, it's not supercellular like what we have seen. So this storm, and only the northern part of it has a warning, and the southern part of it approaching Haleyville does not have a severe thunderstorm warning, so only the northern part of this does. But keep in mind the National Weather Service responsibility changes, so the Huntsville office issuing a warning for the part of the storm in Franklin heading into Lawrence County. Birmingham National Weather Service has opted to not issue a warning for Marion into Winston County, even though the storm looks a little bit stronger in that direction. Quick look here. Let me look at another radar. This will be out of Columbus, Mississippi. I don't see anything rotation-wise on this storm that is particularly concerning to me. But maybe some strong wind. Let's see how this is kind of bowed out here on the northern edge. That's often an indication of strong wind. I suspect if we look at the hail potential, we're not really seeing that. So the storm in Morgan County, more of a hail threat. The storm that we're tracking here, moving through Franklin County, that's going to be more of a damaging wind threat that'll be coming across the Bankhead National Forest. Might clip you folks in Moulton. Do a quick storm track on this. Show you where it is headed, and mostly off to the east. So this is past you in Russellville. Haleyville, you'll get in on the southern extent of this coming up in the next couple of minutes. It'll start moving in. Moulton around 8:39 and into the Speak community around 8:49 with this. Again, this is a wind threat with this storm, Franklin moving into Lawrence County. Our storm in Morgan County that has a severe thunderstorm warning, that's more of a hail threat, although the size of the hail being indicated by our hail product, not particularly concerning. And as I do zoom out here, you know, once we get into the tornado situations, we're focused on that, particularly in situations like we've had today, where we know we've had some tornadoes that have touched down and done some damage. Do want to show you the wider view, and here's the good news. If you're back out here towards the shoals, far northwest Alabama, nothing else coming in. Because so much is going on, the National Weather Service has not made any adjustments to the tornado watch, but that'll likely be forthcoming. But out here, if you're in Colbert, Lauderdale County, I think most of you folks in Limestone County, with the exception here along county line, heading into Madison County, severe weather threat is ending in these areas because there's nothing else immediately out to the west that's coming on in. So what we've got here, we've got some individual storms. We've got some clusters of storms. We've got some storms that are becoming a little bit more linear, kind of forming into lines, all kind of stacked up here. Jackson, Madison County, Morgan County, back into Lawrence, Franklin County. I think this is going to be it. This is going to be the tail end. We still are probably 90 minutes, maybe a couple hours out from all this kind of settling out of the area, so we're not through yet. But this is going to be the end. We're not going to see renewed development anywhere back off to the north and to the west, in my opinion. So it's going to be what we currently have ongoing. That'll continue to track through primarily areas south of the Tennessee River if you are west of I-65, and in some cases pretty far south, and then also through parts of Sand Mountain. So we're still going to have parts of Marshall, DeKalb County that we're going to have to get through. You've not really seen much. Gunnersville to Albertville to Boaz, around Fort Payne, relatively quiet so far. So some of this activity to your north and west in particular still is going to have to drop through, and that's going to take a little bit longer, you know, like I said, another hour and a half to 2 hours before that comes through. But then we are likely going to be done with the severe weather potential. Just looking here, checking out some updates. The tornado warning for south. Okay, the tornado warning that was issued coming off the Arsenal, that included southeast Madison County, southwest Jackson County, northeast Morgan County. That is going to be allowed to expire at 8:30. As I talked about a moment ago, that storm looked like it was really kind of losing its organization. So that's going to be allowed to expire. So that one's going to go away. We will continue, though, with the tornado warning for southern Jackson and northern DeKalb County. That one will continue. I think it goes until 8:45. And we do have some severe thunderstorm warnings that, of course, are going to continue as well. Report here, wall cloud from Lake Gunnersville. I don't know if, take a look at that camera.
I was watching it, didn't see anything, but of course it's dark, so I was waiting for the lightning and
Yeah.
still really couldn't see anything.
Okay, and that's the picture there. So that was just, I don't know where the report came from, where it originated, if it was seen from a camera or observed by a person. It's very electrical. Again, this is looking, this camera's pointed back across the lake towards the causeway there going into Gunnersville from northern Marshall County. So this is looking back at some of the storms in Morgan County, and of course we have a lot of activity off to the north and northeast of Gunnersville. So the camera is the way it's pointed is looking back here towards Morgan County. But we also have quite a bit of lightning showing up here across Jackson County as well as DeKalb County as well. Okay, so here we go. So National Weather Service radar in high top is, we're getting word that it is down. So this is where our live radars are going to come in handy. So with that in mind, so maybe that's why we're not seeing some of these things update. So let's take a look here. At our Gunnersville radar. It's going to look a little different. It's a slightly different type of radar. But it is showing the intense storms here, northern Marshall on into southern Jackson, northern DeKalb County. Again, this is tornado warn. The tornado warning back here for Madison County, that one's going to be allowed to expire at 8:30. So basically the threat has kind of ended for tornado potential. And you can certainly see even a drop off in the lightning activity, particularly around New Hope. So that's some good news. Still monitoring here, again heading into Jackson, DeKalb County. We still have some intense storms. So let's take a look with our Gunnersville radar. And I'm going to use some of the other tools at our disposal. So this is looking at any areas of rotation in these thunderstorms. Don't see anything that's really popping out at me. Looking at the velocity with our WAAY 31 triple Doppler radar out of Gunnersville. Again, the radar in Jackson County from the National Weather Service apparently down. And the expectation is that it is not going to be back up before these storms have exited the area. So we're going to be usually utilizing our live radar out of Gunnersville, just to keep an eye on these storms across this part of Sand Mountain. Here's the latest scan coming around. And just taking the latest look here. I don't see anything immediately concerning, but let's kind of pop things back up with the regular view. And again, our tornado warned storm is the one here near Section. The warning started back here towards Woodville. They've not, usually they would kind of trim the warning back a little bit as the storm moved east. Certainly the most intense part of this thunderstorm, based on the lightning pattern, is right over Section. And we maybe have a couple storms here. One northern Marshall County, another one moving out of Jackson and into DeKalb County. But again, the tornado warned part is going to be for the storm in the vicinity of Section.
County and just a small slither of Jackson County as well.
Okay.
And that's the storm that had the large hail with it a little bit ago.
Okay, all right. So maybe that they are updating and kind of trimming back the warning out of that particular thunderstorm. So let's take a look here. I'm going to look around the Section area in particular. Nothing that is an immediate concern to me jumping out here. Obviously, there are some areas of rotation we're going to have to keep an eye on. Let's take a look here at the latest update. So this is for Jackson and DeKalb County. Northeast of Ider or southwest of Trenton, moving east at 25. This is going to, and this unfortunately is a little out of range. So there's Ider. This is going to be out of range of our radar. So we don't have the high top radar. We do have the Birmingham radar. Okay, so it's going to be for this storm. So this is your new tornado warning. But this is about to cross the state line. So they have issued a new tornado warning for this storm in northern DeKalb County. Again, that's the Birmingham radar. Maybe high top is still up. So it matches pretty close. This is right on the state line, to be honest, where the circulation is with this particular thunderstorm. So tornado warning for the extreme northern part of DeKalb County, but this is going to be about in Georgia. So this is going to be headed out of our area. There you can see the rotation, green toward, red away. Again, northeast of Ider. So this is about to clear out of DeKalb County. So I'm not real concerned about this one since it's going to be out of our area and heading into northwest Georgia. Let's take a look here at the Birmingham radar. Definitely an intense storm. And there you see severe thunderstorm warning extended for that. This is another look. Basically, we've got two storms here, again, across northern Marshall County and into southern Jackson, moving into northern DeKalb County. And a quick look on both of these. Not really seeing anything real concerning in terms of rotation. Again, that's using the Birmingham National Weather Service radar. And looking at our Gunnersville radar, a similar situation. I don't see anything that, and this is looking pretty close and low to the ground in the storms. Don't see anything real concerning here. You know, if anything, maybe a little broad rotation near Section. the green toward the radar, red's away, but that's not incredibly concerning to me with what I'm seeing here. Again, basically 2 storms, so a little rotation near Section. That's going to continue to track from Section to north of Rainsville, but towards Henniger. And then another storm back here in northern parts of Marshall County. Again, you see the tornado warning box. I don't think it's been quite updated. But there's still some potential, perhaps, of seeing something here, but nothing that's real definitive here at this point in time. Let's take you back into Morgan County. I'm going to switch up the radar just a little bit. It's using our radar indicator. Do have a lot of lightning, heavy rainfall, again, southern parts of Morgan County, and also a pickup in some lightning here into northeastern Morgan County. Look here at a couple of these storms from different perspectives. And nothing that's an immediate concern. Again, some of these perhaps producing some hail. Again, our storm back here in Franklin County, moving into Lawrence County. That one's going to have the possibility of producing some strong wind as it moves across the Bankhead National Forest there. And again, kind of widening the view just a little bit. We've got the active weather here from Russellville. We'll be moving towards Moulton. Things are quieting down Decatur and Athens. We do have stronger storms down towards the Falkville area, that southern part of Morgan County. Severe thunderstorm warning associated with that. And it looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning is out for this whole zone across Morgan County, tracking east on into Marshall County. More heavy rain showing up across Madison County. And again, we still have our tornado warned, really couple of storms here in between Scottsboro, just south of Scottsboro, bit north of Gunnersville, mostly tracking east. Some of these may clip you around the Fort Payne area, and to the north of there is where the majority of the action is right now. Take a look at the wind shear products. And nothing real concerning here. Looking at the large hail potential, there are some hail cores. We got one here on the state line. Got another hail core near Section. Got another hail core southeast of Woodville, north of Gunnersville. Nothing that is as significant as what we had earlier. As we kind of take you back in time here, I'm going to take the warnings off. I just want to show you where we've been. So this is a look at areas of rotation that we have been tracking this afternoon, since the late afternoon hours. We saw storms begin really to flare up here, parts of Colbert County. We'd had tornado warnings there into Colbert County. And then we had tornado warnings. You can see the track of the wind shear across parts of Limestone County. Even though we never had a tornado warning there, heading into that part of Morgan County, a bit of wind shear track through in rotation. And then you can see here in some of these more significant areas, this is where we had a tornado on the ground that was crossing from Madison on into Jackson County. We're really starting to lose some of these shear tracks now as everything continues to track through the area. I'm going to take a step off screen here for just a second. Jim, I don't know if we've got any more information on power outages.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm just looking at some of the information coming in from the National Weather Service right now. With the storm that you're talking about, Triana to Falkville, with wind gusts at 60 miles an hour and quarter-size hail. That's what we're seeing as far as that. But let me run through again some of the power outages that we've been getting reports on, both in Limestone and Madison County. In Huntsville Utilities reporting 14,700 people are without power right now. Crews are out. We're also getting lots of reports of trees being down. We're seeing that here on Montesano. Crews trying to take care of that, but of course you can probably hear the hard rain on the roof here. Out of Athens and Limestone County, 15,000 customers from Athens Utilities without power right now, and lots of damage reports. 13 poles broken on Lucas Ferry Road. On Sandifer Road, there's some damage there. There's some limbs down near the railroad tracks. The damage on Sandifer Road between Jefferson Street and Hyde Street. Leverett Avenue south of US 72 is closed because of flooding there. We showed you before, trees down on I-65. So anywhere you're going out, and of course now we're dealing with these storms and it being dark out there, just be careful because you may not see some of those trees and the limbs down. And in a lot of cases, crews aren't able to go out until these storms have passed to be able to take care of that. Same thing with the utilities. Again, with Athens Utilities and Huntsville Utilities, that they're going to be going out taking care of those power outages once they are able to get through, once the storms go through right now. Here's a look at some of the power outages, the areas that we're seeing right now. This is in Madison County. We were seeing in Limestone County more that they kind of snaked along the Tennessee River, which is where we were seeing most of those. In the meantime, we've been getting some pictures and videos. We appreciate you sending those in. If you have some, they help us tell the story. Make sure you can do that safely, though. And here's what you do. You can email them to us at newsroom@waaytv.com. And of course, we're going to be seeing a lot more of those. We're compiling more of those pictures and videos to be able to show you here over the next couple of hours. Hopefully, we'll be getting some more reports as well as the update on the power outages, because we've been hearing, especially from Limestone County, that they are starting to get more and more of those come in now the storms have been going past. But again, they are at about 15,000 in Huntsville Utilities, just a little under 15,000. So quite a few power outages there, Jeff, that we've been seeing in a while here. Lincoln County, Tennessee, I guess on the somewhat of the brighter side, if you will. Report from the Emergency Management Agency Director up there. They weren't seeing a whole lot, have gotten about half an inch of rain. And I bet when we start seeing a lot of the reports of just how much rain has come down and how much we've collected, it's probably going to be significantly more than that. But Jeff, that's what we're seeing right now as far as reports coming in. And of course, we'll keep you updated as soon as more come in.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, Jim. Zoomed in here, this is where the most significant storm activity is showing up right now as we go to weather graphics. Again, the National Weather Service radar in Jackson County is down. So this is using our live radar out of Guntersville. We've got two storms here that are moving across southern Jackson County, northern parts of DeKalb County. New tornado warning is going to, it looks like, be extended for the storm in Jackson County that is moving into northern parts of DeKalb County. And I'm going to focus in a little closer. We're going to show you here what we're tracking storm-wise. Now, this would be where the area of any rotation would be showing up in this particular thunderstorm. Quick look here, looking at the wind velocity, just not seeing anything real significant tornado-wise with our Guntersville live radar with 31 triple Doppler. You see the latest sweep coming around here. But that's what we'll continue to monitor. So it does look like the warning may be extended. Our current tornado warning set to expire in this area. And we've really got kind of a couple storms here. We've got one back towards Swearingen, the back edge of it there, and we've got the other one, again, one back edge near Section, another back edge towards Sylvania. So kind of multiple storms here, but nothing looking at any of them that's very concerning at this point in time. I am going to go ahead. We're going to toss things over to meteorologist Amber Kulik. I'm going to let her take over for a few minutes. She is in our other studio tracking and providing an update for us. Amber.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm gonna take over here for a little bit, so let me get everything situated, pulled up, so I can get going. So I've been keeping an eye on these storms for the past little bit here. So let's go ahead. We'll talk about this tornado warning that we have in portions of Jackson County and into DeKalb County. And again, it looks like they just extended this. And let's see if I can find that in the National Weather Service chat. But we'll keep an eye on that as it continues to move through portions of the area. I do have a little good news for you. If you're over in Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin counties, the National Weather Service is working on removing you from the tornado watch, which means your severe weather threat is over. So some good news for you out in the shoals. But if you're in Sand Mountain, your severe weather chances do continue for a little while longer here. So here's what we're looking at with 31 triple Doppler. We have just a couple of tornado warnings left. We have one in northern DeKalb County. It's with this storm now. Looks like the worst of it has moved over into Georgia, but that tornado warning does continue. So we'll get a look at velocity here. We do have a little bit of rotation. That's in northern parts of DeKalb County. Not a whole lot showing up when I zoom in here, but right along 75. And this will shortly be moving over into Georgia, so that will be out of our hair here shortly. We have this other warning that is down in DeKalb County as well, and switch over to the Birmingham because we do not have our National Weather Service radar here in Huntsville, and this is right on the fringe of the Birmingham radar near Section, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well over the next couple of minutes. Checking in with the National Weather Service here. Here's that tornado warning that they issued for DeKalb and portions of Jackson County that goes until 9:30, so about 45 minutes on this warning here. We'll toggle over to our debris tracker and not really seeing anything that jumps out. And again, this is coming out of Birmingham, so it's kind of on the fringe of their coverage area, but not really seeing anything that would tell me that we do have a tornado on the ground with this storm. But we'll keep an eye on it over the next 45 minutes. That's how long that warning goes. Now we do have quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings across the Tennessee Valley. We have this large warning down into portions of Morgan County. The worst of the weather has moved through places like Decatur, Hartselle, Faultville, and Lacon. You're seeing some of the heaviest of the rain now over towards Eva. Lacey Springs seeing some heavier rain as well. Taking you out towards Lawrence County. Moulton, you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, but your rain is coming to an end as well. And like I said, if you're in the shoals, your severe weather threat has ended for today. So let me take this view a little wider and we'll see what we have across the southeast. And these storms that we've been tracking all evening long have formed a line, and that's exactly what we've been telling you over the past couple of days that they would do. They formed this line, and once that line's through here, our severe weather threat has ended. So still a couple of tornado warnings that we'll have to watch as we head through the next 45 minutes here. That one up in northern DeKalb County, they did allow it to expire, so we have one left covering portions of Jackson County into DeKalb County. So check in with the National Weather Service. Cancels severe thunderstorm warning for southern Madison County into central Morgan County. Not seeing any damage reports as of lately, so really good news there as well. But of course, I'll continue to stay on air here as long as we have this tornado warning in portions of DeKalb and Jackson County. So having to use the radar out of Birmingham because the radar in Jackson County is down right now. So here's what we're looking at from the Birmingham radar. And again, nothing that really jumps out at me and says, hey, this tornado's on the ground. So really good news as far as that is concerned. So we'll look at the debris tracker here, take it back a couple of sweeps, and it's very busy. Again, this is coming from Birmingham, so takes a little bit to look through the data. And we do have some rotation right over section, and that kind of matches up with an area in the debris tracker. So we could be looking at this storm touching down once again. So keep an eye on it over the next couple of scans. Keep watching the National Weather Service as well to see if have any damage coming out of this area. But again, if I'm not talking about your area, that's good news. That means you have no active warnings in your neck of the woods. So watching this one storm over section, I'll even let's put this back into reflectivity mode. Let's time it out for you. Get a storm track on here. So down the road, we're looking at Henniger at 9:05 if the storm holds together. Valley Head 9:15, and Sulphur Springs Station, that's way down the line because we're passing into Eastern Time Zone at 10:23. So if I called out your area in DeKalb County, then you need to be in your safe place over the next little bit as this tornado warned storm moves closer to you. Switch back over to the velocity, and it's where you see those reds and those greens coming together. Pretty much right over section is where we have this rotation at, and even a little bit of rotation over Brooks Cross Road and Henniger as well. So anywhere in this area, and I'll even circle it for you in DeKalb County, anywhere in this circle, you need to be in your tornado safe place as this storm rolls through. We got a couple of areas of rotation within this storm that we'll have to watch over the next 40 minutes or so as this storm continues to push off. Once this one's out of our region though, our severe weather threat will be going down. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of the Tennessee Valley, but this is our last tornado warning, and hopefully it will be our very last tornado warning. So switching back over here to our reflectivity, and these storms have a whole lot of lightning with them as well. If you're in Scottsboro, North Jackson County, like Princeton, Skyline, then your severe weather threat is slowly coming to an end as well. It's southern Jackson County into the northern part of DeKalb County, and places like Marshall County, you still have a severe weather threat as well. And for you over in Limestone and Madison County, your severe weather threat is starting to wrap up as well. It's been a very active afternoon. We've been in coverage now for about 4 hours continuously, and of course I'm going to stay on air as long as we have a tornado warning. Even after the tornado warning ends, then I'll continue to stream online until this severe weather threat is completely through North Alabama. Let's go ahead, check in with National Weather Service here. I'm trying to do multiple things at one time. National Weather Service says keeping a close eye on the storm headed towards ARAB, showing rotation. So we'll go ahead and get a look at that one as well. Velocity scans here. And this one's going to be coming out of Morgan County, moving towards ARAB in Marshall County. A whole lot of lightning. I'm going to go ahead and take the lightning off here. So it's going to be this area of where you see those reds and those greens that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Could be our next tornado warning as we head into the next couple of minutes. Switch over to the debris tracker. Not really seeing anything with this storm as of right now. So we'll keep a close eye on that one while we continue to watch this one up into DeKalb County as well. It's the area near Section in portions of Jackson County. that we were watching for that area of rotation. Still there near Dutton. It's moved to the east now of Section. Still a little bit of rotation near Henniger in DeKalb County as well. So if you're in Dutton in Jackson County, or if you're in Henniger in DeKalb County, Sylvania, need you to be in your safe place right now as these storms roll through. If you're in Pisgah, Stevenson, the storm is going to stay well to your south, but just a couple of areas of some broad rotation showing up within this storm. Let's check out the debris tracker. And again, this is coming from Birmingham, so it's pretty noisy. Anything that catches my eyes, not really seeing anything at the moment, but we will keep a close eye on it over the next little bit. And again, this tornado warning goes until 9:30 and it's 8:52 right now. So we got about 40 more minutes on this tornado warning while we continue to watch the storms that are moving into Marshall County as well. A lot of lightning with these moving out of Morgan County into portions of Marshall County. Have that severe thunderstorm warning on them right now as well. That severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way, and there's our new tornado warning for portions of Marshall County, and it was that storm that I was just telling you about. So let's go ahead and get in here. This little area near Arab. So if you're in Arab, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. Union Grove as well. You need to be in your safe space as this storm moves towards you. Let's see how long this one goes. This is until 9:45, moving east at 50 miles per hour. So this one's going to be moving a little faster than the other storms that we have seen today. Go ahead and put a storm track on this. Show you who's going to be affected. Change my time on here. All right. Speeds updated, so if you're in Lakeview, 9:12 is when this storm will reach you. Gunnersville, 9:14. Rayburn, 9:17. Little New York at 9:24. So if you're looking at this list and you see your town name on it, then I need you to be in your safe space right now as this possible tornado is headed your way. So we've got that one. We've got the storm, clear that off. Got the tornado warning up into Jackson, DeKalb County as well. And again, this one, not really concerning at the moment. It does have rotation with it, but it does look to be broad. So we're going to talk about this one moving into Marshall County. We'll switch over here to the debris tracker, see if we can see anything with this storm as well. Not seeing anything at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on it for sure. Here's the reflectivity. Even with the tornado threat on top of that, we do have a hail threat with this storm that's moving into Marshall County. It may take it a minute to update here on our hail signature. So we'll give it a few minutes while that's updating. Go back to the National Weather Service here. Trying to see what's been updated over the past couple of minutes. National Weather Service is now saying strong rotation with tornado warned storm between Section and Sylvania. Tornado could be in process. So let's go back to that storm. And this is the one that's been ongoing for just a little bit now. Came out of Madison County, now it's in Jackson, DeKalb County. And it's those areas of rotation that I circled just a few minutes ago for you that we're gonna have to keep an eye on. This area, if you live anywhere within that circle, I need you to be in your safe place right now and stay there until this storm moves through. I'm gonna zoom in a little closer here and see if we can maybe get some street names on here. Bowman Crossroads, Brooks Crossroads, Sylvania. Rainsville, this looks like it's going to stay just to your north. Going over here, because like I said, it looks like we have two areas of some rotation. This one is going to be to the east of Henniger, but Henniger, you have this other area that's going to come right behind it. So if you're listening to me in your safe space, you need to stay there over the next little bit. Let's go over to our debris tracker here. Let's see. I'm going to walk this back a few scans. And again, there's a lot of bright colors in here. It's very loud, but may have something to the north of Sylvania. So again, if you're in Henniger, I need you to be in your safe space, centermost part of your home, away from those doors and windows right now, as the storm is moving towards you as we speak. And if there is a tornado with the storm, you're not going to see it. It's going to be rain wrapped. Whole lot of lightning and some hail with this as well. It's not just the tornado threat that we're dealing with tonight, it's the hail as well. And this storm does have a little bit of hail with it. So a couple of things we're having to keep an eye on as we head into the next little bit. 2 tornado warnings. We've got one in portions of DeKalb County. We've got one down into Marshall County. This one's going to be moving towards Gunnersville. So if you're in Gunnersville, I need you in your safe place. Rotation right now is pretty much right over Arab. Union Grove, you need to be in your safe space as well. It's moving right over 231 as we speak. So if you're along 431 in Gunnersville, now's the time that you need to be thinking about where you're going to go if the storm holds together over the next couple of minutes here. So let's see. I'm going to check out our sky cams as well. A lot of lightning from our Gunnersville cam right now. Let me see if I can pull that up for you at home so you can see what I'm looking at. Again, this is a tornado warned storm in Marshall County. We also have a tornado warned storm in DeKalb County as well. So we got a couple of things that we're watching here, and we'll continue to watch over the next little bit. So go back here. Here's the wider view across the area on 31 triple Doppler. And again, our radar in Jackson County, the National Weather Service radar, is down right now. So we're having to use our Doppler radars that we have here, and also having to use the radar out of Birmingham. So have a lot trying to do at one time here, but yeah, I'll get you a look at that Gunnersville camera here in a minute. I do want to stay with these storms though, because we could be dealing with a tornado in portions of DeKalb and Jackson County. So it's this storm that we've been watching now for quite a while that could be putting down a tornado. So been telling you, if you're in Henniger, you need to be in your safe place. Sylvania, stay in that safe place section. This is going to be off towards your east now, and this is going to cross Interstate 59 here in just a few minutes. So if you're along Interstate 59 in DeKalb County, now's the time to be thinking about where you're going to go to get out of this storm. So using the Birmingham radar here, this is your debris tracker. And again, I know it's very loud. There's a lot of colors going on, but something to watch near Sylvania for sure. So I'm going to toggle back and forth between this storm in DeKalb County this storm that we're seeing in Jackson County as well. And I'm going to leave it on this one. I'm going to go over to our velocity scan, and I'm going to pull max up full. Leave it on that for a minute. So again, this is one of our tornado warned storms that we are watching. There's your Guntersville camera for you. Very electric storm moving over Lake Guntersville there. I'm going to keep it on this for a minute and see if we see any lowering with this storm that is moving in. So we'll watch that for just a minute. See if we see anything on this tower cam. But like I said, a whole lot of lightning moving into Guntersville as we speak. There's a tornado warning on this storm. So if you are listening to me in Guntersville, get away from those doors and windows. So we'll keep an eye on that tower cam as well. And again, that little purple line that you see, we're having to use the radar out of Birmingham because the National Weather Service radar here in Huntsville is down right now, and there's a chance that it will not be back up until after the storms move through our area. So bear with me. I'm using Birmingham radar, using our Guntersville radar as too. And here's a look at that from our Guntersville live Doppler radar here in-house. Very heavy rain moving towards Guntersville with that tornado warning on this storm. And there is rotation with this storm, but it does look like it is broad. Check in with the National Weather Service. A lot of power outages. Okay, we need to go back to this one because the National Weather Service is saying there is debris with the storm in DeKalb County. So this is over Sylvania. We'll go back a few scans there. Yeah, where you see those greens at, that's where we could have a tornado right now. So DeKalb County needs you to be in your safe place. Valley Head, get to where you're away from your doors and windows. Let's put a storm track on this. And this one's moving about 50 miles per hour. Valley Head at 9:16, so you have a few minutes. Mentone 9:17. Cloudland, that's when we're passing over into Georgia because now we're in 10 o'clock. So that will be out of our viewing area. But until this one gets out of our viewing area, this is going to be the one that we're going to have to watch because we are picking up a little debris here. And this is with the Birmingham radar. So I know it looks very busy. We'll check out this one in Marshall County as well. A lot of lightning in this part of the storm. It does look like the hail's starting to pick up on that one as well, but I want to get back to this one over here in DeKalb County. And again, if we do have a tornado with this, you are not going to see it. A lot of rain being put down by this storm, but there is rotation from Sylvania, Stamp, Henniger area, Valley Head. So that's where we're going to have to keep an eye on over the next few minutes. So let's see. Again, if you're just joining, we have 2 tornado warnings actively that we are watching across the Tennessee Valley. I'm actually in our Studio B right now, so I'll be covering these for the next little bit here, and then we'll be joining Jeff again shortly. Looks like right now the storm that bears watching is this one in DeKalb County. And this warning goes until 9:30, so we'll have to see if it's extended. This storm now has a decent hail core with it, moving into Gunnersville. If you're in Lawrence County, your severe weather threat has ended for the night. Your rain has pretty much ended for the night. If you're in Limestone, Madison County, your severe weather threat going down as well. For you in Morgan County, the northern half of Morgan County, pretty much say your severe weather threat's coming to an end as well. But southern part right along the Coleman County line, we'll have to watch that for the next couple of minutes here. So let's see. And again, seeing a lot of power outages with these storms. Still watching this one. It looks like they did extend that tornado warning over into Georgia as well. This is going to be heading towards you in Mentone, crossing 59. So if you know anyone in Mentone, if you know anyone out that area, maybe they're not paying attention this evening, give them a call, give them a heads up. The storm is headed your way. And again, it's a little difficult having to use our radars here that we have in-house and the Birmingham radar because we don't have the National Weather Service radar in Huntsville thanks to the storms that moved through earlier. So just keeping an eye on the debris tracker. Anytime you see the drop in colors where we could be dealing with a tornado. Okay, so keeping a close eye on that storm moving through DeKalb County, close eye on this storm moving through Marshall County, and this one's getting closer to Gunnersville. So there's our Gunnersville tower cam. A lot of lightning in the storm that's moving in. Very electric. So if you're over in that area, again, you have to watch out for hail. You have to watch out for that tornado threat with this storm. And there's also a chance that you could lose power because of all the lightning with this storm. So just a couple of things we're watching out for this evening as these storms roll through the area. And I'll continue to stay on air as long as we have tornado warnings in our viewing area. We're going on about 4 hours now of this coverage. This tornado warning in DeKalb County is the one that is still worth watching, although it does look like maybe over the last couple of scans here, not looking as bad as it was just a couple of minutes ago. Go over to debris tracker. Still keeping an eye on that area near Sylvania. This is going to be off to your east now that we'll watch over the next little bit. Go back to the velocity here. And again, it looks like the worst of the storm is going to stay just to your south in Henniger. And this area in Marshall County, very broad rotation with this one. It's there, but it's very broad. Look at the debris tracker. Not seeing a whole lot that would concern me and tell me that, hey, there's something on the ground here. So again, multiple areas, watching over the next little bit here. And this is pretty much all over Sand Mountain area now for the rest of us, severe weather threat is starting to wind down, and that will be the case over the rest of the evening hours. So things will start to wind down for all of us over, I would say give it another hour, hour and a half, and we'll be in the clear. So I'm gonna take max full screen and let's get a look at power outages. So looking like we do have some power outages from the storms that are moving through right now, most of them in Jackson County. And of course I'm seeing that on the National Weather Service as well, that we are seeing those power outages with the storms that are moving through. So something we'll have to watch, something to keep in mind through the evening hours tonight as well. Make sure your devices are charged. That's why we always tell you, make sure those cell phones are charged, because in events like this, you lose power, your cell phone is the best way to get that weather information. So going back in here to our tornado warnings, and like I told you before, it looks like they extended this tornado warning out of DeKalb County into Georgia. That would take it out of our viewing area, but we're not there just yet. Still got a little ways with that storm moving towards Mentone. Just checking the chat here to see if I'm missing anything. Okay, going back in here. Look at the velocity. Still got to keep a close eye on this storm in Jackson County over the next little bit here. And like I said, it does look like from this vantage point, using the Birmingham radar, that we are starting to see this rotation broaden out. But still going to keep an eye on it for sure. Let's see. Looks like we just got a new tornado warning. So let me reset the view a little bit here. See what the National Weather Service says about this one. We now have a tornado warning located over Grant, or 11 miles north of Gunnersville, moving east at 35 miles per hour. So that's going to be the northern part of this. And there is rotation. So if you're in Kirbytown, Crossroad, get in your safe space as the storm approaches you. You can clearly see the rotations, the reds and the greens coming together. That's where we have that wind rotating around each other in the storm. So let's put a storm track on this. Go ahead and switch back over to our reflectivity. Moving east. Get how fast it's moving again for you. 35 miles per hour. Okay. Grove Oak School at 9:25. So you got about 10 minutes. Crossroad 9:26. 9:35. So if you're in 5, early heads up for you, but you need to be getting into your safe place as the storm approaches you over the next little bit. And there is rotation with this one. There's a little bit of rotation in the southern part of this storm as well. And that's kind of what we've seen through the evening hours tonight, is you get these storms and there's a couple of areas of some rotation, and after a while one area of rotation takes over and becomes the dominant one. So, and let's see, let's go into the storm. Yeah, there's a couple of areas of some rotation. One's right over Gunnersville, one up here to the north near Grant. And this is going to be going over 431 in Gunnersville pretty much right now. So if you are in Guntersville near 431, that is where this rotation is at. Checking on this storm up in DeKalb County as well. This one still has the confirmed tag on it. It does look like that area of rotation. Let me circle it for you so you can see what I'm talking about. It's this area right here that I'm keeping an eye on and will continue to watch. So let's look at our debris tracker here. Could be something where you see all those lightning strikes. Let me circle it for you again. This is getting very close to 59. This may go just to the south of Valley Head in DeKalb County. So heads up, get in your safe place as this one moves through. Switch over. And again, couple areas of some rotation with this storm in Marshall County as well. Area of some broad rotation right over Guntersville. Your reds and your greens aren't really close together, but they're there. They're close enough to say that we do have rotation within the storm. And this other area, this one a little tighter, just to the south of Grant. So that's going to be a storm to watch. We just got our newest scan here. And again, just looking at this storm, you wouldn't think there's anything in it. It looks like a just traditional thunderstorm, but these areas of rotation are in the rain. So if you try to walk outside and see these tornado warned storms, you're not going to see anything because they are wrapped in the rain. So we're just going to go back and forth here between these two storms. They're the only two storms we have right now. It looks like the rotation in this one's starting to wrap back up here. Valley Head pretty much right over I-59 in DeKalb County. Take a look at the debris tracker. Super busy, all those colors on it. Can't really tell if we have something down. Either way, Valley Head, safe space, is where you need to be. And if you're in New Hope, you may be getting an alert that you're under yet another tornado warning. But the storm that prompted this warning is in Marshall County, Grant, excuse me. This has moved off towards your east as well. Guntersville, again, the heaviest part of the storm is right over you as we speak. But the area of rotation has moved off to your east. It's where you see this little area is where we have that rotation that we will watch here as we head into the next 30 minutes or so. Strong rotation in Guntersville community. This will be headed towards Geraldine, Fife, and Rainsville. So Geraldine, Fife, and Rainsville. Now's the time to be thinking about where you're going to go if the storm holds together, in which these storms have been holding together through the evening hours tonight. I do want to reset the view for you here. So here we have a view across the southeast, and again, it's this line. Once this line moves through, our severe weather threat has come to an end. We're just not there yet. Give it about another hour, hour and a half, and we'll be able to clear everyone. And I know this looks weird, but this is trying to pull data from the National Weather Service's radar here in Huntsville. And we don't have the National Weather Service radar in Huntsville after those storms that moved through. So we have to use the one out of Birmingham. So again, going back in here, there's that rotation in DeKalb County. And this is very close to crossing I-59. Just to the south and west of Valley Head. Get those reds and those greens together, that's where we have that rotation in this storm. And again, we'll check our debris tracker here. Not seeing a whole lot that would tell me, hey, this tornado is on the ground, but again, having to use the radar out of Birmingham, so stay in your safe place until this tornado warning is over. Again, just check in with the National Weather Service here, seeing what they're saying about these storms. This one tornado warning is set to expire at 9:30, but we'll see if they extend it. Going back into Marshall County here. And again, like I said, tornado threat's one thing, but we also have the threat for some large hail. And this storm does have a little bit of hail with it, but definitely not as large as some of the other storms that we've seen that have moved through this evening. Check our shear tracker here. Seen a little bit of that rotation now just to the east of Grant, right to the south of Kirbytown. We'll even do this for the storm over in DeKalb County. Not seeing a whole lot with that one. Get back over to reflectivity here. And again, these storms very electric as they move through the area. A lot of lightning. We've seen plenty of power outages over the past little bit. Got some heavier storms moving through Coleman County as well, but these don't have any warnings with them. The only warnings that we have across the entire area are these tornado warnings over in Marshall and DeKalb County and portions of Jackson County. All the severe thunderstorm warnings that we had earlier were allowed to expire. So that is some good news to bring you tonight as we continue to keep an eye on these tornado warnings. And it won't be long before this storm that's moving towards Mentone, right over Valley Head, will move into Georgia. Here's a look at the velocity. Take it back a couple of scans here. It does look like it was stronger right before it crossed I-59. Looks like it's starting to broaden out a little bit again. So hopefully that will be the case as it continues to move through the rest of DeKalb County and crosses over into Georgia and out of our viewing area. Checking in on our other two tornado warnings here. The one that prompted the new tornado warning near Grant has moved into the southern part of Jackson County and is moving into DeKalb County as well. A little bit of rotation with this one. I would argue this storm probably more of a damaging wind threat from what I'm seeing, but damaging wind can do as much damage as a tornado. So you need to take it serious, take it like it is a tornado warning, in which it is. Make sure to stay in your safe space. So keep checking the debris tracker here, because this is what's really going to tell me if we are dealing with a tornado in this area. But since it's coming from Birmingham, a lot of different colors on here that we're having to kind of decipher and pick between. So go back to the National Weather Service. No real updates here. Which again, if you're not getting very many updates, some really good news in situations like this. Still a lot of lightning, a lot of rain being put down with these storms. If you're an Arab, the worst of the weather has moved off to your east, so you can come out of your safe space. Union Grove as well can come out of your safe space as well. New Hope, worst of the weather, is off to your east as well. So let's go ahead and take this back full screen here. And let's look at some video from earlier today with some of these storms that rolled through here. And that looks like the tornado that moved through Madison earlier. We had that tornado warning earlier this evening in Madison County. That's a really good look with the drone footage of that. A lot of storms that did damage over the afternoon, evening hours tonight. And we're not done just yet. Still have a couple more storms that we have to keep an eye on. This one moving through Marshall County right now. We have this one moving through DeKalb County. Looks like the hail core in this one's starting to pick up a little bit just to the south of Henniger. So we'll take a look at that. And picking up a little hail there, but again, nothing like what we saw earlier in the evening hours with some of these storms. A lot of lightning. Still a couple of areas of some rotation. We have one that passed over I-59, but it looks like we have another one, and that one just got a confirmed tornado warning on it. So let's see here. The National Weather Service is saying. Okay, we'll give them a minute to type that up, but it's that area of rotation that I was just talking about. This one is to the east of Sylvania, south of Henniger. Go over to our debris tracker. Again, this is coming from Birmingham. Could be a little something there. Valley Head, stay in your safe place. Okay, National Weather Service says storms moving farther away from the radars, so there currently isn't any rotation looks strong enough to suggest a tornado at just radar alone. But they will keep the tornado warnings given the environment and the way that the storms have behaved this evening, because we'll get a couple of areas of rotation. They'll broaden out a little bit, and then they'll start to ramp back up. So that's something that we've seen all evening long. So that's why they're continuing the tornado warnings for you in DeKalb County. So let's hop back down here into Marshall County in the southern part of DeKalb County. And once these storms get through, that's it for us tonight. Severe weather threat will be coming to an end. So looks like they just let one of those tornado warnings expire. So let's see here. Canceled tornado warning for Marshall County. Yep, so we're starting to see them trim back on these tornado warnings. So we have this one, Crossville, Collinsville. Need to be in that safe space over the next couple of minutes. Check our debris tracker. And where do we see that lightning at? Near Crossville. some broad rotation at best with this storm. Again, probably with that sweep, that's a little more impressive. So where you see those bright reds and greens together, that's where we have that rotation at. So let's go back to the debris tracker now. Some brighter colors being picked up right there. So I'm gonna leave this on velocity for a second. We're gonna wait until our next scan comes in because this is probably the best looking rotation that I've seen from this storm since I've been covering it for about an hour now. So Crossville, this will stay just to your south. Collinsville, you need to be thinking about where you're gonna go if this storm holds together. And again, been pulsing up and then they'll kind of fizzle out for a little bit and then they'll come back again. So this is along County Road 26 in DeKalb County. So there's, let me draw some. So here's County Road 26. And here's 227. And this possible tornado is going to pass right over 227. So if you know anyone along that area in DeKalb County, give them a call, tell them to get in their safe place. If that's where you're at, you need to be in your safe space. If you're in Dawson in DeKalb County, now's the time to be thinking about where you would head. Checking the National Weather Service here. This looks to be the most impressive storm that we have right now. The rest of them are putting down a lot of rain and some lightning, but it's this one with the rotation that we'll have to keep an eye on. Let's check the hail with this storm. A little bit of hail, but again, not anything like we were seeing earlier this evening. And one thing that we have working for us now is the sun has set, so we are starting to lose that daytime instability. And these storms are also starting to move into Georgia, which is out of our area. So back up into this storm near Valley Head. Take a look at it as well. We still have rotation with this storm. But again, because it's so far away from the radar in Birmingham and we can't use the radar in Jackson County, just best to stay in your safe place a little while longer as the storm moves through your area. Not seeing a whole lot with the debris tracker, a whole lot of lightning though with this storm. So let's hop back down to this one because this is the one that has my eye. And this is southern DeKalb County. And rotation looks like it is still there. But again, waiting on latest sweep of radar to see what we can tell from that. Up near Geraldine, some very gusty winds possible in your area. Just waiting on that next sweep. Yep, National Weather Service is saying that they're seeing this strong rotation as well near Geraldine and Crossville in DeKalb County. So there's velocity. Let's check out debris tracker. Not really seeing anything with debris tracker right now, but it does look like this storm is trying to tighten up again, so we'll have to watch it. If you're in Marshall County, Morgan County, your threat's starting to come to an end. The worst of the weather has moved past you at this point. So we're watching this storm in northern DeKalb County and watching this storm in southern DeKalb County. Those are the two storms that we have left tonight. Those are the two storms that have tornado warnings on them. So if you're in Geraldine, Crossville, hopefully you're in your safe space, listening to me from your TV that's turned up, watching me on your phone. If you're in Rainsville, got some heavy rain moving towards you. Fort Payne, you'll be next in line to see the storms. Collinsville, probably hearing the tornado sirens at this point, getting an alert on your phone saying, hey, there's a tornado warning. Looks like this rotation will stay off to your north in Collinsville. Let's go ahead, take another look at velocity here. Still seeing that rotation near Geraldine and Crossville. Now we have a flash flood warning for DeKalb, Marshall, Madison, and Jackson County. And again, I told you, these storms putting down a whole lot of rain. So stay home if you possibly can tonight. Don't go out looking for damage, sightseeing, none of that. Just stay put through the evening hours and overnight hours tonight. All right, one of these storms that we're watching in northern DeKalb County finally starting to push into Georgia. As it does so, it'll be out of our viewing area. Still got that broad rotation with it though. This is just to the east of Valley Head. All right, going back down to this storm. And we are seeing that rotation start to tighten a little near Crossville. This is going to be just to the south of Dawson. Collinsville, you need to be in your safe place as this storm makes its way towards you. Keep an eye on the National Weather Service. All right, going back to reflectivity. Again, two storms that we're watching. For the rest of you, that's most of Jackson County, Marshall County, Morgan County. The worst of the weather has moved past you. All right, so does look like we will be sending things back to Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle in our other studio.
All righty, thank you very much, Amber. Continue to watch really DeKalb County at this point. That's where the severe weather threat remains. A couple tornado warnings here do remain for really a large part of the county. One storm, though, about ready to exit and into northwest Georgia in the northern part of the county outside of Fort Payne. Tornado warning does continue, though, in the southern part of DeKalb County. Want to start you off here, the big picture, though, and things are winding down. Huntsville, down into Morgan County, really most of Madison, Morgan County, and points westward. We're done with severe weather. That tornado watch has been canceled in a few areas. We still have strong storms, Coleman County, and some of these will continue to clip across Marshall County. Much of Jackson County, the weather is improved. So the main areas that we're going to continue to be watching here, Coleman County, northern Blount County, parts of Marshall County, DeKalb County, for a little bit longer. This is where the severe weather threat is going to remain and the potential for tornado activity. We've gotten limited reports out of here, but I did see the Sylvania area may have been hit particularly hard in northern parts of DeKalb County. So that is one of the areas potentially that did see some significant impacts from these storms. We'll focus in on it here with 31 triple Doppler. And just a reminder, as we've been telling you, we don't have the radar that we would normally use from the National Weather Service out of northern Jackson County. That radar is down, but we do have our live radar out of Guntersville, which we're going to take a look at in just a second, and also the National Weather Service radar out of Birmingham. That's what we're kind of using right now to track a lot of this activity heading across DeKalb County. Again, tornado-warned storm that was moving across northern DeKalb County, that is beginning to cross the state line on into Georgia. Now, there is another strong storm here back behind. This one kind of bowed out a little bit, so that's an indication this may have some very strong wind associated with it. That will be coming through the Fort Payne area and areas just to the north. And then another tornado-warned storm that Amber's been tracking for you in the southern part of DeKalb County. So let's take a look at that one first. And again, we're going to pull up the latest here on the wind velocity out of this particular thunderstorm. And you can see the circulation. Again, this is using radar out of the Birmingham area. Just a reminder what the colors represent. Green is blowing toward the radar. Reds are blowing away. So you get this sense of counterclockwise rotation showing up here in the vicinity of Crossville. This is tracking towards Collinsville. So if you're in Crossville, obviously you need to be remaining in your shelter for a little bit longer. Hopefully you've already headed there. But if you're in Collinsville, this is where the storm is tracking next. So I need you in that part of DeKalb County to go ahead and heading to your tornado safe place. Really anywhere from Dawson to Rodentown and points eastward. You need to be seeking shelter for, again, possibility of a tornado here. It is going to be coming into the Collinsville area around 9:52, so a little less than 10 minutes out. Flanders by 9:55, Portersville by 9:58. This will eventually head into northern parts of Cherokee County, just outside of our coverage area, and then of course from there it'll make a quick exit on into parts of northwest Georgia where there are more tornado warnings for storms moving through that area as well. So we are not the only ones suffering some rough weather here on this Tuesday evening. But again, that is our most immediate threat for possible tornado, again in the southern part of DeKalb County. We take you up to the north. And again, there's a strong storm that is here showing up with lots of lightning around Rainsville. Not a real strong rotational signal here with this one, but we are going to have to keep an eye on it. Again, the storm that prompted the earlier tornado warning, that is what is here along the state line. And again, the heaviest part of this storm has shifted on into Georgia. So again, this storm that moved through the northern part of DeKalb County, that tornado warning should be allowed to expire as that storm, and I think that expires at 9:45, as that particular thunderstorm has shifted on into northern parts of Georgia. Let me show you the bigger picture here with the regular view. Again, this was a storm that prompted the tornado warning, but that has now moved across the state line. We do have another storm coming through Sylvania. Again, not quite as concerned about a tornado threat here, but the possibility for some strong wind gusts out of this storm. Again, just based on the shape, it's kind of bowed out here from near Henniger back through the Fort Payne area. So this could very easily produce some strong damaging wind gusts as it moves through this part of DeKalb County. And again, we have our tornado-warned storm here in the southern part of the county, again, bearing down on Collinsville right now. But this will be eventually heading out of DeKalb County and into northern parts of Cherokee County. Should stay a little north of Center, but it will clip parts of the Weiss Lake area there in northern parts of Cherokee County. And again, then that is really going to be kind of the tail end. Now, there is some activity that does remain back behind. Nothing, though, that is severe warned right now. This is using our live radar out of Guntersville. Still a lot of rain coming on down in and around Guntersville, going up the mountain towards Albertville, but nothing that is severe out of this. And again, as we take a look here at the wind velocity, We are kind of on the edge of what this radar can see. It has kind of a narrow range. We're not seeing anything real strong, at least in the lower levels of the storm here in terms of rotation. But again, if a tornado is going to develop in the southern part of DeKalb County, that is going to be tracking through Collinsville, and there's nothing immediately in the northern part of the county that is a concern, as again, the storm that prompted that tornado warning for northern DeKalb County, that has shifted on into northwestern Georgia. So that is kind of out of the picture at this point in time. It appears, though, let me take a closer look here. Just checking out the warnings as I'm jumping on here. So the tornado watch has now been canceled. Tornado watch is canceled now for Limestone, Madison County, Franklin County, Tennessee, Moore County, Tennessee, Lincoln County, Tennessee, Lawrence, and Morgan County in Alabama. So again, tornado watch canceled in a lot of areas. The exception is Sand Mountain, still officially in effect for Jackson County, although I think the severe weather threat is kind of wrapping up for you folks in Jackson County. And it does continue, of course, for Marshall as well as DeKalb County for just a little bit longer with this storm, the storms that are continuing to come on through. Update rotation approaching Collinsville. That's going to head into the Portersville area. We just chatted about that. And let me just see here the latest warnings that we've got. So a warning does continue for DeKalb County. This is for southern DeKalb County. This one goes until 10:30. So that is for the storm that is approaching the Collinsville area and actually moving through Collinsville right now. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Sand Rock, 12 miles northwest of Center, moving east at 50. Warning goes until 10:30. I don't think it's going to be in DeKalb County, though, until 10:30 with this particular thunderstorm. It is going to be moving into Cherokee County. So you can see the active warnings that we have right now, basically still covering most of DeKalb County. The one in Collinsville, again, that goes until 10:30, unless the track on this is going to take it right up Interstate 59, which doesn't appear to be the case. This is going to be out of DeKalb County sooner rather than later. Focus in a little closer here. So again, it is this storm with that new tornado warning that goes until 10:30. But this is Cherokee County right here. So once this clears Collinsville and continues that track on off to the east, that one will actually be out of DeKalb County. You can see the storms are still primarily moving off to the east. So we've got that one. And then here in the northern part of the county, we do have strong storms moving through the Fort Payne area. Let me just double check here on these, latest here on the warnings. So the one for southern DeKalb. There's just been so much going on with these storms. And then officially another tornado warning looks like it continues here until 10:15. And that's likely for the warning in the northern part of the county. And again, I just don't think that they've cleared that yet, because this is for a storm earlier near Henniger. So even though there's still officially a tornado warning here that goes until 10:15, there's Henniger, but that was for this storm that's now cleared northern DeKalb County. And I don't believe there's a tornado warning associated with this area of the thunderstorm back off to the north of Fort Payne. There is a strong storm here, though, that we'll continue to keep an eye on. And this may very well produce some strong wind gusts, just the way it's kind of bowed out. So this is where that is going to be coming on through into the Valley Head area around 10:02, Mentone around 10:07. And beyond that, again, tracking on into northwest Georgia, the Menlo area across the state line there on into Georgia. So this is not tornado warned. I think they just haven't dropped the tornado warning for northern parts of DeKalb County, but the storm that prompted that warning is now on into Georgia. And what we have back behind it is more than likely a strong push of wind that's come through the Fort Payne area. In fact, I'll kind of take a look here and see if we have any weather data out of the weather station there in Fort Payne. And see what some of the wind gusts have been there as that's coming on through. Right now, the latest update, which was about 15 minutes ago, winds gusting 28 miles per hour. So possible there have been some stronger wind gusts that have come on through here. But again, we are looking at this storm, and the most powerful part of it, which is passing through Fort Payne right now, also will be moving out of DeKalb County and across northern parts of Cherokee County. So at this point, I think the only storm that is of most concern for a tornado is the one that is basically right over Collinsville. So this continues, and it looks like a new tornado warning has come out for Cherokee County. So once the storm clears Collinsville, it's going to be out of southern DeKalb County. So I know some areas have not been cleared yet, but again, this storm in Collinsville prompting the warning, you still need to be in your tornado safe place, and then this will continue to track through Cherokee County, near Cedar Bluff. Likely it stays a little north of Center, and it will be moving across the Weiss Lake area, but that is just outside of our coverage area. Back to the west towards Crossville, there's still plenty of rain. There's still lots of thunder and lightning with that storm. And again, here across DeKalb County up north, another strong storm moving through Fort Payne, more of a damaging wind threat, I think, based on what we're seeing radar depicted here with this particular thunderstorm. And so that will remain a threat there in the northern part of the county. Again, this is our live radar out of Guntersville with 31 triple Doppler, and back into Marshall County. There are still heavy storms. Lightning extends back into northern Blount County, parts of Coleman County as well. None of this severe warned, but is contributing to a heavy rainfall there in the central part of DeKalb County. And that will continue to feed on Marshall County, that'll continue to feed on into DeKalb County. But again, our strongest storm, Collinsville, but that is shifting on into Cherokee County. And again, the northern part of DeKalb County, and Amber, you can correct me on this, but I believe that tornado warning just has not been cleared as that storm that prompted it has headed on into Georgia. I just think there's so much going on. We've had so many storms here that we're a little behind on clearing out some of these warnings.
Yeah, and that's what they were saying just a little bit ago as well. There wasn't one certain area of rotation they were watching, especially since they were having to use the Birmingham radar instead of the Huntsville one. So they just kind of let the tornado warning go just in case we did see a tornado warning. So now I think we're just a little far behind with everything that has been going on. But I do think the threat of a tornado there is definitely over with Jeff.
Okay. And yeah, so let's see here. Tornado warning does continue until 10:30 for southern DeKalb County. And yes, and that goes until 10:30. I was trying to sort through all of this here. Tornado warning remains in effect until 10:30 for southern DeKalb County. Again, that is for the storm moving through Collinsville. No other updates at this time other than some cancellation of the tornado watch. We're trying to assess some damage areas. Again, I've seen some talk about Sylvania. You know, if you can pass along any information, just send an email to our newsroom just to let us know. Just saw the one report that there was some damage in Sylvania. But we've got no more information in regards to that with that particular thunderstorm. And again, all the action is here in DeKalb County. We'll kind of back out the view here, just show you the bigger picture that things are beginning to wind down for a large part of the area. Strong storms, eastern Coleman County, still in the parts of western Marshall County. Neither of these, though, are severe warned. And we do have the tornado warning primarily here for southern parts of DeKalb County. I know we have a northern storm here, but what prompted the tornado warning has moved on into Georgia, and although there's still a strong storm that's come through the Fort Payne area, maybe bringing some strong gusty wind with it, likely a little bit less of a tornado threat out of that. And then you head back to the west, and it's a done deal, which is why a large part of the area from Huntsville back into most of Morgan County. I think Coleman County is still included in the tornado watch, but basically Huntsville to Lacey Spring to Eva, back to the west, we're done. There's not going to be any more severe weather. It's just going to be kind of the cleanup phase right now. I've tried to look at some of the pictures and video sent in, and we really appreciate that. That helps us tell the weather story. It looks like some damage in East Limestone that we were talking about earlier, starting in the vicinity of where the Buc-ee's is, there Huntsville Brownsbury Road and I-65, and then some of that damage appears to have extended into parts of Madison as well. And again, we've seen some photos sent in of some homes damaged there in the East Limestone part of the city of Madison, and maybe even to parts of the Madison County part of Madison as well, due to what was a likely tornado that touched down and tracked through that area. And again, other reports out there that we're continuing to kind of sift through. Again, what I've seen of most significance is just some reports that maybe Sylvania in northern DeKalb County was perhaps hit kind of hard as a result of a tornado-warned storm that did move through that area. And again, here's the latest of what we got going on. Strongest part of the thunderstorm here in DeKalb County that's moved through Collinsville. That continues to shift on into Cherokee County. And although we still have a strong storm here in the vicinity of Fort Payne, that is also the leading edge of it is beginning to work its way towards the state line and will be headed on into northwestern parts of Georgia. So again, this is kind of a wrap up to what we've got going on. I'll run through some of the warnings. Again, I think they're not quite caught up. This is the tornado watch. I know it said until 10. It's been extended a little bit in time for parts of Marshall, DeKalb. Jackson County, I think you're more or less done. Most of the activity in our area is going to continue here, Marshall and on into DeKalb County, at least for a little bit longer. I really think by 10:30, we're going to be able to give you the all clear here across the majority of the area. These are the active warnings that we have now, tornado warnings. Give it just a second for these to come up. These are the active warnings right now. Again, this was a confirmed tornado, but again, I think that was for the storm that has passed on in to Georgia. That was set to expire at 10:15 anyway. And then we do have a tornado warning that goes until, looks like one for Etowah and Cherokee County.
The National Weather Service just said they will be canceling the warnings here soon, so stand by.
Okay, so they're going to be canceling the warnings. And in that case, canceling the warnings means we're going to be done. Unless some of this activity back in Marshall County decides to flare up as it moves into DeKalb County. So the warnings are going to be canceled. Looks like that one just went away. We've still got the confirmed tornado warning here in northern DeKalb County. And again, that is for a storm that has moved on into Georgia. So let's see. Okay, canceling both warnings early. So it looks like the one has dropped. And there goes the other one. So we appear to be warning free now across our coverage area here in North Alabama. And with that in mind, there's the latest radar view. We will continue to watch. There is a strong thunderstorm coming through Gunnersville. There's a lot of lightning going out of Gunnersville up Sand Mountain into the Albertville area, but nothing that is severe here. And again, the two tornado warnings that had been in effect for DeKalb County, both of those are canceled because the storms that prompted them have moved out of DeKalb County. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead, it is 10 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and roll into our 10 o'clock news right now.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 10.
And as we come on the air at 10, multiple radar-confirmed tornadoes touching down in North Alabama tonight. This is some new video here in from one of our viewers, helping us tell the story through their eyes. However, we are still tracking some storms as they make their way out of our area this evening. Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle has been on air all afternoon and all evening. And Jeff, it's been a long night.
It has been. And unfortunately, the storms have produced some damage here across the area. As we continue to assess that and get information in. Again, I want to thank everyone that has shared photos and video. That helps us tell the weather story. That gives us an idea as to what is happening with the storm activity. We are on a downward trend. I won't give you the all clear at this point because we still do have some storms back in Marshall County that are packing a bit of a punch. The strongest storms and the last ones that had tornado warnings in DeKalb County have now shifted out of that area. And once this last batch of thunderstorm activity that's around Guntersville and Albertville moves out, we are going to be done. Because you can see here on 31 triple Doppler looking back out to the west, there is nothing else coming on in. And in fact, the tornado watch has been canceled for much of the area from Huntsville back out to the west. I'll show you where the watch does remain for now. Coleman County still included, Marshall County officially. Jackson County, I really think we're probably done here. But again, particularly Marshall into DeKalb County, we still have that one strong storm impacting you from Guntersville to Albertville that will still track east, so we will have to keep an eye on that. But really have wound down the overall severe weather threat and the tornado threat, and there's nothing else that we are expecting to track heading into tonight that is going to be a concern. I'll be back in a few minutes. We will have another radar update for you. I'll show you some of the latest hour-by-hour forecast information and what we are expecting for the rest of the week. And as we head into that Memorial Day weekend, that'll be coming up in your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Well, due to storm damage and ongoing power outages, several schools are making schedule changes for tomorrow. Athens High School and Athens Middle School will operate on a 3-hour delay, and there will be no school for pre-K through 5th grade students there in Athens. In Limestone County schools, class will not be in session for Clements High School or for Blue Springs Elementary School, those also due to power outages. Well, tonight's storm is packing a powerful punch, knocking out power to thousands of people. In Huntsville, more than 17,000 outages, the majority concentrated in Madison near Hughes Road and in Huntsville near Bronze Spring Park. Huntsville Utilities says the crews are out working right now to restore power to you. Over in the Shoals, the number of outages is down to less than 1,000 now. At one point during the evening, they were dealing with 3,000 people without the lights on. In Lawrence and Morgan counties, about 2,000 Joe Wheeler EMC customers are still in the dark. The majority of those are in or near Priceville. The city of Athens is reporting thousands of power outages tonight. There are also dozens of downed trees and power lines throughout the city. WAAY 31's Georgia Clark joins us now live after seeing some of that damage tonight up close. Georgia?
Well, Jim, we are just outside of Athens in Limestone County, and it seems like the city will be doing quite a bit of cleanup over the next few days. Dozens of power lines are down on Lucas Ferry Road and across the city. And right now, the city's line workers are putting in overtime to get the power back on. At last check, 15,000 customers were without power, and there are also downed trees and flooding across town, like Leverett Avenue south of US 72. I-65 south is also closed, just past exit 347. This is right near Buc-ee's, and this is due to downed trees across the highway. Now, city and county officials are asking everyone to be cautious while they're driving around tonight, just to be sure you don't run over any power lines or run into any downed trees. Now, these are just a few of the pictures that we've gotten this evening, and you can go on our website, waaytv.com, and we've got slideshows of all the damage pictures we've received this afternoon that you can go check out. I'm reporting live in Limestone County with coverage you can count on. Georgia Clark, WAAY 31 News.
Thank you, Georgia. New photos into our newsroom show damage in Madison from a radar-confirmed tornado there. You can see debris scattered all across the road. This is near Gillespie and Hughes Road. Another photo shows a roof ripped off and bricks ripped from the side of a home. Another viewer sent us these photos of other damage in Madison this evening. This is off Jarrett Lane. You can see multiple downed trees there and shingles blown off one of the homes. The storm also left behind branches scattered in some front yards. If you're thinking about hitting I-65 tonight, you just might find yourself stuck in traffic. Right now, there is a downed tree in the roadway. This is just past Buc-ee's going southbound on the interstate. They're asking you to avoid this area if you possibly can. Check this out. This is a radar-confirmed tornado near Browns Ferry Road. You heard us talk about it all night long. And you can see just how hard that wind is blowing and a lot of the lightning there. So many times when these tornadoes come in, they're rain-wrapped and we really don't get a good look at it. Here, obviously, we're getting a great look at that one near Browns Ferry Road. If you get the chance, it can be safe shooting pictures or videos just like this one here. This one was sent in by a viewer near the Meadows subdivision. This is off of Highway 431. You can see some intense lightning there in the background. You can hear the sirens going off. Look at that cloud. This amazing video sent in. Look at this coming down. You can hear it too. If you can't tell what it is, you probably guess. It is hail in Florence earlier today. This is near Veterans Park. Looks like it's about the size of a dime, and that's a lot of the reports that we were getting in this evening, about a dime, about $half size, even though we did hear of one report near Town Creek when they were getting baseball-sized hail. That's just how much hail was coming down, this one slamming the viewer's deck. And take a look at this video taken on Highway 35. This is looking north towards Skyline. You don't get to see this up close very often, but you can see the storm moving in, the storm surge here. Just an amazing video there. You can see the lightning in the background. Unbelievable. Let's head back to Limestone County. This appears here to be a water spout. See if they're kind of right in the middle? This is right near Browns Ferry Nuclear Plant. Looks like it was moving pretty fast. Again, can't say it enough. If you can get videos or pictures of this, send it to us. Share what your area looked like today. Make sure that you share them at WAAYTV.com. And thank you to all of you who sent those in tonight. Of course, we weren't the only ones that were hit with severe weather tonight. A tornado touched down near the Jackson Regional Airport. That's in Jackson, Tennessee. New video shows the twister lofting debris into the air as it struck a warehouse. Thankfully, it had been evacuated and no one was inside. Tonight, at least 28 are dead after unrelenting storms across much of the central and eastern U.S. Missouri and Virginia are among those affected, but Kentucky has been hit the hardest once again with 19 dead. The governor says the state is even submitting an application for FEMA assistance.
I'm very concerned about cuts to FEMA or to the National Weather Service, but I want to be clear that the actual response on the ground by the Trump administration and Secretary Noem has been good. Our commitment to every single one of these Kentuckians is we're going to rebuild every structure and every light.
Well, tomorrow, that devastating storm system will push off into the Atlantic Ocean. A short way to stay on top of all severe weather developments is just to download our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. You just scan that QR code that you'll find there on your screen. That way you'll get all the latest updates on watches and warnings that are in your area. And best of all, it is free for all devices. Well, new at 10, a Florence man now locked up without bond. Police say they found human remains where they arrested him. Just a few hours ago, Florence police upgraded Logan Rogers' charge to murder. They arrested him this morning at a home off Northwood Avenue. He was originally charged with attempted murder in connection with the disappearance of Autumn Strickland.
Well, this arrest marks a significant progress in our investigation. We still need the community's help. Our investigation suggests that a vehicle intentionally struck Ms. Strickland.
Florence police say the human remains are now on their way to a forensics lab for identification. As for Rogers, he will be held without bond now, pending an Annaya's law hearing. Well, just ahead, we'll tell you all about a popular event returning to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Plus, potential funding cuts for North Alabama Head Start, what this means now for the hundreds of families who rely on that federally funded program.
And our 31 alert day is winding down. Last of the storms moving through Marshall, DeKalb County. Nothing else will come through overnight tonight. We're going to track it out of the area coming up in your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker forecast.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 10 with Nikel Williams, Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle, and Sports with Max Cohen.
Well, this month is Military Spouse Appreciation Month, and all month long, WAAY 31 is recognizing some of our military spouses right here in North Alabama. Today we salute Ashley Lee. Ashley is a dedicated and caring Army spouse of 39 years. She works as a volunteer with Therapy Dog International. All of us here at WAAY 31, thank you for your strength, support, and unwavering dedication as a military spouse. Huntsville, an early childhood education program, now faces a potential funding crisis. Instead of celebrating their 60-year history, one local Head Start program is now working to figure out just how to keep its doors open if they lose federal funding. WAAY 31's Demetria Green explains.
If there's any area to save, we should protect our children and continue to serve our children.
Uncertainty remains for teachers and families across the nation who rely on Head Start programs after the Trump administration did not mention the 6-decade program in its budget summary on May 2nd.
We're staying very positive because we know that both sides of the aisle, and I'm sure even the president, care about children. I believe that we're going to be okay, and that we're just going to continue to provide quality services to children, because that's really what it's all about.
Community Action Partnership of North Alabama's Head Start program is just one of many that could be affected. Their program serves 15 counties and more than 1,400 children. People often confuse Head Start with daycare. But CAPNA's Executive Director of Children's Services, Kim Dodd, says they are so much more.
We provide a healthy and safe learning environment for children. We also do screenings, developmental screenings and medical screenings with children to make sure if they need glasses or anything, they have all that before they go to school. They're ready.
Dodd says federal funding cuts will not only hurt the families they serve, it could also affect the economy.
We would have over, almost 500 employees lose their jobs. We would have parents of 1,400 children. We would have them, that would disrupt their employment.
Assistant Center Director for Sheffield Head Start, Tuesday Ritchie, says they need that vote of confidence that they are not going to lose that security.
Educating and supporting our future is always going to help us all. If we leave our children behind, they're going to be behind when they go to school and be behind, potentially for the rest of their life.
With coverage you can count on, Demetria Green, WAAY 31 News.
Right now, Sheffield Head Start alone has over 70 children on the wait list trying just to get into their program. Some recognition for 3 Head Start centers in North Alabama: Lauderdale County Early Learning Center, Garden City Head Start, and Westminster Head Start received a 5-star rating from Alabama Quality Stars. It recognizes early childhood programs that go above and beyond.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle with 31 Triple Doppler.
Alert day winding down here across the Tennessee Valley. No active severe weather warnings in terms of a tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings. There is a flash flood warning that extends from parts of southeast Madison County across Jackson County. We've seen very, very heavy rainfall kind of tracking through some of the same areas, so just be aware there could be some flooded roadways, particularly heading into parts of Jackson County. Tornado warnings now out of our area, most into Georgia. There is one that still includes northern parts of Cherokee County, just outside of our coverage area. Back edge of the storms are pushing out of Marshall. Still have a little bit of a ways to go here if you're in DeKalb County. But again, the storm activity that we have here from near Fife, off southwest of Fort Payne towards Collinsville, back to the east of Boaz. This is mostly moving east. None of this is severe, but it is bringing heavy rainfall and possibly some strong gusty wind as well. Tornado watch has been canceled for a lot of areas. I think next up to be cleared will probably be the remainder of North Alabama. But Gunnersville, the severe weather threat is now gone for you. If you're up in Jackson County, I know officially still in the tornado watch, but the threat has ended for you. And we'll continue to keep an eye on some of these storms in DeKalb County, but looks like the potential that any of those would go severe at this point before they exit the area is going to be fairly low. Latest here with future radar, continue to hold on to rain and thunderstorm activity in the east. But by midnight tonight, should be over and done with, even rainfall-wise across the area. We will clear out the skies overnight tonight. There's a cold front that is going to push through. That'll switch our winds around to a northerly direction tomorrow. You'll notice a bit of a drop-off in the humidity, and slightly cooler temperatures will be coming on in as well. But we do look forward to quiet weather and some sunshine for you Wednesday. We've got it around the lunch hour. We'll keep it mainly clear through tomorrow afternoon. We head into Thursday. We are getting some indications that there will be a little disturbance that will come on through. So late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, perhaps some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. We're not seeing any more severe weather potential out of this, so I don't think that'll be an issue. But at least through the early part of the day on Thursday, maybe up until the lunch hour here in southern Middle Tennessee, there may be a little rain that moves through before we push that on out for your Thursday afternoon and on into your Friday. And then we'll turn our attention to the weekend forecast. Does look like some rain will come through at times for your Memorial Day holiday plans. Not a total washout. Right now, Memorial Day itself may be the wettest out of the 3-day holiday weekend, so we'll keep an eye on that. Temperatures overnight tonight starting to reflect that cold front moving through. We'll settle back low to mid 60s by tomorrow morning, and a cooler day tomorrow afternoon. Should be less humid as well. Wind mostly out of the west and the northwest, a little breezy around 10-15 miles per hour. But again, outside of that, should be a great day with plenty of sunshine. 72 around 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll be in the upper 70s around the lunch hour, and we'll still make the low 80s for your highs tomorrow afternoon, but that is down from what we've had over the last few days. About 82 for Huntsville, may keep it just below 80 in Scottsboro, 80 in Guntersville tomorrow, 83 Decatur, 84 Muscle Shoals, and around 82 tomorrow in Moulton. Here's your WAAY 31 storm tracker, 10-day forecast, keeping it around the 80-degree mark Thursday, Friday into the weekend. For now, low-end rain chance Thursday, but check back with us in case we have to bump that up a little bit more. We'll be dry on Friday, and then over the weekend, rain chances will gradually go back up. Some spotty wet weather Saturday, a little bit more showery weather and some thunderstorms Sunday. And right now, Memorial Day itself may be wettest with a 50% chance for showers and storms. Highs will be in the mid-70s on the holiday. We will start to push rain out of here, it looks like early next week. And it looks like more coolish weather on the way. Highs in the 70s to close out the month of May. That's good. We've yet to see 90 officially in many areas. And you know what? The longer we can hold that off, the better, because we know that they will be back here to stay eventually.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll take the 70s while we can get them.
Yeah. And nice to see a quieter radar for a lot of the area.
Absolutely. Hey, just want to pass this along. I just got this text. Huntsville City Schools are going to be operating on a 1-hour delay tomorrow. That's with the exception of Montesano Elementary. They're going to be closed because of the damage. Of course, we've been hearing about here up on Montesano. Early dismissal continues for tomorrow. Make sure you look for the email from Huntsville City Schools. They'll kind of fill in the rest of it for you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. The weekly event will take place at the Davidson Center for Space Exploration from 5 to 7 p.m. You can buy food and drinks there. All of the entertainment, though, is free. Max?
Alabama will be staying in Hoover for at least one more day. We'll show you how the Tide rolled past Mizzou this morning at the Met. Next in sports.
WAAY 31 Sports is brought to you by Current Electrical. Now from the Current Electrical Sports Center, WAAY 31 Sports with Max Cohan.
For more than a decade, the SEC baseball tournament followed the same format. 12 teams made it to Hoover, playing double elimination games until the semifinals when it was winner go home. But then the SEC added a couple more teams, and with Oklahoma and Texas in the mix, the baseball tournament made some changes. This year, all 16 teams will play in the conference tournament, battling in elimination games from the first contest to the last. And getting things started this year, it's 9th-seeded Alabama and the 16th seed from Mizzou. Rob Vaughn put the ball in Tyler Fay's hands today, and it paid off. The redshirt sophomore put together his best start of his career, going 6 innings, allowing just 1 run while punching out 6. Fay would keep the Tigers off the board until the 4th, when Mateo Serna blasted a solo shot out to right, giving Mizzou the lead, but the Tide would roll right back in the bottom of the frame. 2 on for Justin LeBron, and the shortstop singles into left, bringing in Brennan Norton to tie the game and giving LeBron 70 RBIs on the season. The next man up is Cade Snell, and the outfielder shows you why he was named first-team All-SEC, knocking home Bryson Fowler as Alabama takes the lead. Catcher Brady Neal would put the finishing touches on this one with a solo shot in the 8th as the Tide end the Tigers season, surviving and advancing with the 4-1 win. And with the victory, the Tide will play the reigning champion Tennessee. That game was slated to be 9:30 tomorrow, but will now be played after the Mississippi State-Texas A&M game, which was postponed due to weather. As a result of the scheduling shuffle, Auburn will not play until Thursday morning. Down at Stetson University, it's North Alabama and Jacksonville meeting in the first round of the ASUN tournament, a game that marks the Lions' first D1 postseason appearance, and the Dolphins were not wasting any time today. The first Jacksonville batter was Jaden Bashan, and the center fielder hits a leadoff tank, putting the Lions in a hole in the first, but North Alabama would respond in the fourth. Runners on the corners for Riker Billingsley, and he shoots one to short. It won't be fielded cleanly, and this game is tied. But the Dolphins would get hot, taking the game 5-1. The Lions will play again tomorrow. North Alabama will battle North Florida in an elimination game at 1 o'clock. And when the Trash Pandas took the field tonight in Chattanooga, they had a bit of a different lineup. That's because Christian Moore is no longer with Rocket City. Despite batting just .234 on the year, the Angels' top prospect has been promoted to AAA Salt Lake, and he reached base safely in his first 4 plate appearances tonight. And while fans are probably sad to see Simo gone, they should be pumped because one of their new guys is no stranger to Madison. Former Bob Jones star Mitch Daly was assigned to the Trash Pandas today. Daly, who played SEC baseball at Texas and Kentucky, was part of some incredible Patriots teams and will now be playing AA ball just miles away from where he made a name for himself in high school. So that'll be the first time we've ever had a guy that played high school ball in North Alabama on the Trash Pandas. So something to look forward to next week.
That is fantastic. And I told my boys Christian Moore's not going to be here long, so I'm glad we got to see him.
Yeah, he had a good
moves
match,
on up
but
from there.
Let's check out the weather.
Yes, it is winding down. That is the good news. We have no active severe weather warnings, no tornado warnings, no severe thunderstorm warnings. All of that now shifting on into Georgia. There is still some rain and some rumbles of thunder across DeKalb County. That will be the last of it. So once that scoots on out of here, probably over the next 30 minutes or so, we'll be quiet for the rest of tonight. Here's the latest on your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker 10-day forecast. Might see a few more rain showers Thursday, and then we'll turn our attention to some wet weather for the holiday weekend.
Good. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for watching WAAY 31 News at 10. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.